That's it. Hey, check 1 2. Why is that mono? Wait a sec. What the fuck? Wait, why is that mono? Hands-free AG audio. It thinks it's a headset. What the fuck? Is that all I can I not change it to a different device so that I get stereo out of the thing? That's gonna be new. I'm trying out setup stuff. So paired to desktop. All right, there we go. But like, why is it not stereo? This thing is stereo here, but it thinks that this is a headset. And I guess Bluetooth exists so that you can do like a phone call. So is the quality okay? Is there at least some quality to it? It sounds like shit. All right, fuck this. Nope, we're done. We're done. We're done with this. I'm gonna put a cable on it. This is for phone calls. This is not for All right, so that's now in stereo, and you guys should be able to hear me with full quality. Yeah, the bitrate was bad over Bluetooth. I would understand that. Oh, okay. It managed to sound only as slightly better than a gamer's headset. You know, that's good for some streamers. Some streamers are fine with that. I'm not, but some streamers are fine with that. That bugs me. You're out here on a platform that supports all these bit rates and stuff, and you're just like, that's fine. Yeah, so, okay, so the mixer is going to have to be a little bit more nomadic. But I've got the full mix out on this thing, right? So I've got channel 1 is for my AT2020 microphone. 2 and 3 are then for lapels. And then I've got all the sound effects and all the effects that I can put on my voice. And I think Discord on my other machine can route through this so that you guys can get separated Discord and game audio so that I'm broadcasting back to my friend. If I happen to be in a call, I can broadcast back to my friend with only my voice and the morning show radio shit so that they only hear my gags and my voice, not my game audio and desktop audio and all that. Oh, what a headache. Yeah, so I'm figuring out my setup. It's slowly evolving and improving over time. It is hot down here. It is going to not be a fun day to be your intrepid streamer. But things that have happened since we last met up is that I got a USB-C hub. So this goes directly back to my motherboard. And I discovered that using that USB-C hub means not only, and I also got a USB-C power station that's like a 250 watt power station so that I can have the power only stuff like my cell phone charger, the scope, and my the module tester that I took down to make room. The module tester, the scope, and the cell phone charger can all just get power. And any future, hold on, where's my arm procedure? Is that gonna work? I think so. Natural visuals, no autofocus, no autofocus, no autofocus, no autofocus. I have to fix the Stream Deck button. This is essentially the first part of the stream, is me fixing all of this growing pains stuff. No, regular old Stream Deck. And then I need to go into the face procedure. And then I need to go into all these. Choose the right webcam. Oh, God. Wait, why is that? Okay, there we go. Pure thermal, C922, OBS camera, spout cam, virtual cam, Logitech Brio, C920, but we've got a face cam right here. So which one is... There should be two C920s attached. Because the other one, let's see if Burn the Subs is working. It is working. So this is... Oh no, so this is the C920. That's the 922. This is the Brio. What's the microscope doing? Microscope works. Yeah, it's a lot of cameras. It's a lot of cameras to this setup, and I wish I could simplify it. I wish I could use something like NDI, but I don't have the initial money to sink into equipment, so I use cheapo Logitech cameras. We are doing a hashtag AutoCAD ad. We will be working with the CRscan, which I could have gotten this through the creator program, through the AutoCAD creator program. I bought this like a month before they emailed saying, hey, does anybody want a CRscan? Oh, well. Oh, well. I'm not good at selling stuff on eBay, and I guess I can be mean about it. But I did get some other cool stuff through the creator program, and I would like to fix my cameras before I show it off. But I got the 3D Connection CAD mouse and their 3 or 6 axis of freedom puck wireless. It's like their new digs that they're trying to like put out there and make sure that people are seeing using them. Pretty cool stuff. Yeah, the space mouse and this little bugger right here, the CAD mouse compact wireless. So I took that excuse to turn things wireless, but it turns out that my tiny little keyboard, in spite of having, this is the backup of the backup keyboards, it has 3 USB buttons right here, like they all do. But when I try to pair it, it doesn't do anything. It just doesn't do anything. This keyboard is beyond broken. It only works wireless or only works wired, and it doesn't seem to have any battery life left in it for some odd reason. So unfortunately, I couldn't Bluetooth everything. You were looking at these? I don't know if I can get used to a middle mouse button. I know all the old school computer dudes love their middle mouse buttons, right? Their weird 3-button mice. This thing has 3 mouse buttons. This is the left, this is the right, and this will be like a pseudo click down the center kind of scroll. Another thing about it is it feels a little floaty, and I can probably fix that in settings. It's just when you start messing with it's like a passenger seat. If you start messing with a passenger seat, you're never gonna stop. They sent us some of the bigger ones that are still wireless a few months ago. I guess they're hitting the PR or whatever, the advertising pretty hard. So C920, I'm gonna assume that it's this one, but there should be a second C920 on here. So that leads me to believe that maybe my camera is out bandwidth, but it shouldn't be. It should definitely be on this list. Logitech Brio's the arm cam. Pro webcam might be what I'm looking for. Pure thermal is the thermal cam. That's not the right one. C922 Pro Stream is Burn the Subs. It's not OBS. It's not Spout. Spout's a totally different system. OBS virtual cam. That's not it either. That's like a webcam thing. I am forced. How many was that? That was... What are we talking? We're talking... Wait, so arm cam, face cam, thermal cam. Yeah, where's the microscope? Let's try this and see what happens. Well, I should probably identify it. It puts the identifier number on it too, so let's see what it is over here. This one doesn't give me one, but I can at least... I'm not going to get used to that right click anytime soon. Face cam here. Face cam here. Properties here. C920. See, OBS sees both of them. The bar rater tools don't. Maybe because I had the other one unplugged for a little while. Let me restart Stream Deck. This is, I mean, stream start soon is actually a lie today because this is what I planned on doing. I just want my cameras to look nice. I've got all these macros. Quit Stream Deck. I can't quit use Stream Deck. Start it up again. I use the hell out of the scroll click because it's my third button. See, I press down the mouse wheel to do that. Oh, we get to see how cursed my system is when I try to do a 3D scan. I don't know if I have an appropriate data cable. That was the problem with getting the Stream Deck working. It's so weird. Now that I've got the Stream Deck XL plugged in to the same USB hub where it was having errors, but the long distance is being done by USB-C, everything now works. Crazy. I guess it was just a bandwidth over distance thing and the shielding standards of the various types of cables. Okay, so did this fix itself? It did, except this one is probably broken. Which one is this one pointed to? F1C. I'm so glad BarRaider added the identification to it. That helps massively because these things are called the same thing. Okay, so that's going to fix the procedure. It was just a matter of the webcam being unplugged at the time. So that means I can hit this button, face procedure. Yeah, there we go. All right. Looking a little bit more warm, looking a little bit more like you're actually standing in the shop and not some kind of a robotic observer of the things that I do in here. Let's go to burn the subs, although that one doesn't really need to be primed. That one's kind of in a crap position right now. It's sitting on top of a pile of crap. The reason it's like this is because, okay, hold on, let me do the BTS focus. The reason it looks like this is because the painter had to get to that window. That's why I couldn't stream on Tuesday. We had a painter here. Don't ask me why. I guess it's just because the house has wooden windowsills, and they kind of start to rot if you don't maintain them properly, and so we're painting them in order to keep them a little bit more sealed. That's the only excuse I can really think of. Okay, that's fine if that's like that. That's just going to be out of focus. Next on the docket is to make room for me, because I can't get in to use my own computer. I can't believe Bluetooth was so shit. I really would have liked it if I could have used the mixer wirelessly, but it turns out I'm just going to have to... That's a good reason, unless you're changing the color. I frankly do not know what the precise reason was. I don't know why we had that done. It's on the maintenance schedule, though, and with this house was built in the 90s, which is like real bad. It was built in the 90s. It was not built to last. Nothing in the 90s was built to last, which is why it's hilarious that all of those 1990s time capsules are going to be opened soon. There's like a 2025 Nickelodeon time capsule that's going to be opened up, and it's going to be full of 90s crap, and it's all going to be broken. It's all going to be broken. All the capacitors will have leaked all over the place. Oh, it's going to be hilarious. One of the first things we did when we moved into this place was get the roof done, because, oh boy, bad roof gets moisture in the house. Moisture in the house, big problems. So that was one of the things. Just like this thing was built in the 90s, we're going to definitely, moisture proof. Moist. Yeah, okay. So I need to clean all of this crap away. We're going to see if I can find a USB cable that's going to be compatible with the CR10. The CRscan, I got ripped off. I got my money stolen. When you buy USB-C to USB-C cables, primarily they're concerned with charging, not with data. And the data cables are supposed to be these big, thick cables. You got to look for the ones that are useful as a monitor cable, apparently, which are also $17. But you can end up spending $17 on a cable that can carry data, but it can't carry fast data, and so it just simply does not work. I'm so mad. I've wasted so much money. I've wasted so much money. The data cables should be like this, where they're a little bit thick, they're a little bit inflexible. It's PD versus USB 4, two different things. I was looking up 3.1. Should I be looking up a USB 4 cable? But yeah, I was looking up all kinds of stuff, and the cable that I ended up buying was the wrong type. And they're all 18 bucks, 17 bucks, 9 bucks. Very unreasonable prices for cables, but hey, I got plenty of charging cables now, at least. I'm glad you know this and can laugh at me about it, but you know how pretentious that is. Or you should anyway. Because genuinely not knowing about something is... eclectic as USB standards is not a weird thing. It's a common thing, and it's a fault of the USB standardizations. Should I put a twist tie on this? I think I should. Goodbye, backup mouse. Goodbye, SteelSeries. You are being replaced with a $100, at least I looked it up on Amazon. You can probably get them cheaper than that. A 3D Connections CAD mouse with one or two extra buttons on it, and a little bit more floatiness that I will have to address at some date. At some future date, I will have to address the floatiness of this mouse because the SteelSeries has all kinds of accelerations and stuff on it, and they're pretty smooth out of the bat. This has the potential. The mouse doesn't appear to lag on Bluetooth at all. I've got a bit of responsiveness to it, but it feels lighter, and maybe that's the weight of the mouse in my hand, and maybe just a little bit floatier, if I'm honest. But we'll see. Maybe I can tune that out. Not laughing, I just write XD at the end. The trials and tribulations of millennial language. Yeah, so I thought I'd be freeing up a bunch of USB over here. It turns out I'm freeing up a little bit of bandwidth, but we still have the programming cable, the keyboard. What are you? Wait a minute. Want to use I think this one's the camera because it's got a ferrule on it. This one's the keyboard. So what are you? What are you? Oh, you're Stream Deck. So that's the small Stream Deck. So keyboard, camera, Stream Deck XL, which for some reason works perfectly well plugged into this hub when it's plugged into a USB-C hub. I'm guessing that's just because of the shielding standards on the USB-C hub allows more distance. I tried to put Bluetooth on a dongle. These are all actual sentences that your streamer is actually saying. Oh, let me open up YouTube chat. Sorry, YouTube chat. Sorry, we're a little discombobulated. I had to get audio working at the beginning of stream, and it wasn't working for me. And then it sounded like crap. It sounded terrible. Pop out chat. Okay, there. YouTube, you guys are now in the fray. Y'all are now in the fray. Okay, so what I did is I tried to plug in the Bluetooth dongle over here. The funny thing about Bluetooth is that sometimes it will connect between floors of the house. This is Bluetooth low energy. It's the same stuff that runs my glucose system, my pump, and the phone and the pump and the Bluetooth, or sorry, the glucose sensor. They all speak Bluetooth low energy, right? So they all communicate with each other Bluetooth low energy. I will sometimes leave the phone down here by accident, go upstairs, and hear on the pump that it's actually done a treatment change and it started to tick away the units of insulin as directed by my phone, which is down here in the basement. That's the cool thing about Bluetooth low energy. Sometimes it works really well. Other times, I'll put my phone in my pocket and the sensor will be just far enough back on my shoulder that my body blocks it and it's unable to get any sort of communication. So when I plugged Bluetooth into this hub here, this hub is set back just a little bit on the pillar. And so that creates a blind spot right here. And that blind spot was right where it would be seeing this mouse. So I got herky-jerky mouse response as a result. Now, the other thing could possibly have been that this is going such a distance that it was unable to get all of its packets all the way back to the host computer. And the simplicity of USB-C directly out of the motherboard all the way over to this thing gives me that much more distance capabilities. So it could be a factor of that. Now, when I do a game stream, I'm going to have to figure out whether or not I want to plug the mixer into a hub that then plugs into possibly this thing directly. I'm not sure though. Hey, that macro still works. This is a lot. It's a lot. I would like to get to using the Stream Deck XL because there's just so much more stuff that I can put down on here. These are actually supposed to be active buttons, but this is the old program in it, so none of these are associated with the right stuff. But like, see, I can have a block of all of the focuses for the cameras here. Why would the stream starting soon preclude? Why would you need that condition to be met? Why do you have that conditional in effect? That doesn't make any sense. Also, if you already know the deal, please just shut the fuck up about stream starting soon. I'm so sick of addressing it. It really does fucking annoy me every time, and you're constantly reminding me of this, which is not really a cool thing. No, it's not actually funny. All right, I gotta make sure that these mounts clip because that almost fell over. Hey, what's up, Keeper of Maps? I'm gonna move this down so that this thing can actually close. It's like this, too much desk for it. I've already scolded you about this and you didn't listen to me. So by all means, I could ban you right now and I wouldn't lose sleep, but I'm not like that. Because if it annoys me, it's usually fine. I like the new network dock Elgato announced. It's really interesting to see what people do with it. The network dock? I haven't looked at any Elgato products lately. I assume they're still innovating. Yeah, these are the Bessie clamps or whatever. They're really good. If you're looking to like do wood shop stuff with any sort of repetition ability on it, I'm thinking of putting one of them on my chop saw. If I can fit it. I can't get this to adjust though. Hold on a sec. Listen, I did the joke where I banned somebody for nothing once, and they were like really sad about it. They were like really sad about it. And I know, like, get over it, but it's like at the same time, it's like it's kind of a mean thing to do, so I really don't want to do that. How did we get this to not fall off the desk during the testing phase? We had a long testing phase with it. Maybe I just moved the clamp down. Maybe I just undid all this crap and moved the clamp down, and that got it. Because that's the best way to safety this thing to the big desk, and this is kind of how it fits when we're doing shop work with this. This thing is full of dust. Full of dust. I say, begone, dust. Out with you. Out with you, you dusty bastard. Get all that dust off of there with my paintbrush. With my nice soft paintbrush. My fetish brush. Get out of here, you stupid dust. Because this thing has been sitting around for a long time. It's been sitting around. We haven't done any game streams. I know. We'll do a little bit of Stream Deck shenanigans to see if I can't get this XL working with my setup quickly. I think I can cut and paste all the different scenes into it. I'm not even sure this thing works anymore. Probably should. Yeah, this is an actual Mercedes steering wheel. Back in the day, I have to say that now. I have to say back in the day now, because certainly you probably can't do this anymore. But I was able to get this thing for like $200-300, and it's a refurbished Mercedes steering wheel from overseas. I think I started watching you when you first started the wheel project. Yeah, it's been a little while. I mean, the wheel project got really complicated, didn't it? Really, the only thing we need to scan is this bezel right here, but I'm going to try to scan this entire thing, because if we can get all that represented in Fusion 360, I will be happy. I don't know how integrated the CRscan is with Fusion 360. I think I need to import a file. I don't think it's like native to Fusion, unless they've worked on something new, but I missed the boat in terms of getting one for free. This one is fully self-funded. The Space Mouse that we will be using has been provided to me at no cost from 3D Connections directly, working with the Fusion 360 team. Historical connector? You mean this thing? We just pressed pins into it. It's only 3 pins because it's the LIN bus. There's a power steering stuff? No. This is an industrial 1/4 horsepower servo motor. It's a Mitsubishi servo motor. We took all the encoder stuff off of it and replaced it with a more universal encoder. And so I've got the 3 phases of power and ground going in here, and we've got the encoder in the back, as well as a couple extra pins in there, which take LIN bus, which is a 12-volt digital bus, which speak of the language of this steering wheel. It's sort of a low priority bus that has a common messaging. And the common messaging is used in modern cars for things like steering wheel buttons, low priority, like the shifter buttons. High priority is like CAN bus. That stuff is like super fast and has a scheduler. Well, actually, Linbus does have a scheduler on it too. I didn't really so much bother with that, but I love that this has an up, down, right, and left button, as well as all the different function buttons that I can program in a game. Turns out the game I wanted to play with it didn't use all those buttons, but whatever. It was my summer car can only use so many of the buttons. And so we had to do a bunch of shenanigans. There's also, within the software that I used, the hardware that I used to power the force feedback wheel, we had to take advantage of this wireless wheel setup where you would have like a battery and a controller in the wheel, and it would speak Bluetooth to the base. Instead, what we did was we programmed an Arduino to fake being the Bluetooth modem and communicate the button presses that were coming in from Lin over fake Bluetooth serial communication to the base, so that the base would believe that we were the wireless wheel module. It took buying the wireless wheel module to do, which is sort of dumb because I didn't want to have to buy the wireless wheel module twice because I blew one up. Twisted Sister, a friend of mine from Virginia back in the day, actually sent me enough money to buy the second one so that I could finish the project. It was so incredibly complicated, but it worked in the end. We just basically bit-banged the timings of the connections, like how long it takes for the modem to connect to certain things. And then we had to use stuff to fool the base into thinking that we were hitting physical buttons as well as digital buttons. Vastly complicated piece of software. I get no credit for having coded this entire thing from scratch because my channel's not popular enough for me to get accolades out here in the digital creation realm. I should probably write a blog about it. I got to be on Strange Parts' stream for like a couple minutes talking about nerding out about this kind of stuff. Yeah, the protocol hacking was me in my element. It was me in my element putting maximum effort into minimal functionality, but it worked. But it worked. Yeah, I'm kind of getting used to the new mouse. I think I need to do something to give it a little bit more of a weighty feel. Not the physical mouse. The physical mouse is fine. It feels expensive. It's got a little bit of weight to it, like I like. I like a weighty mouse. I don't like a zero gravity mouse that feels like I'm touching air. I like to actually know that I'm holding a mouse in my hand. 3 buttons is a little weird, but we're getting used to it. I'm still formulating opinions on it. Did we run out of music? No, it's still going. Whew! I've already broken a sweat just from getting all the USB stuff ready to go. But yeah, we'll have to find a game that I don't hate. The wheel does click. The wheel clicks to the right and down, and I think that's just a matter of them having the tactile button to the right of the button. It'll just click like that. OMSI2. There were a couple driving games that I was kind of looking at. Yeah, so if I click it to the right, it becomes scroll wheel. If I click it straight down, same thing. Yeah, so it's one single tactile button that's just on a beam that clicks down. And then the center button, of course, does the scrolling as well, and I think I can assign it within stuff. If I go to the 3D connection tools, which I don't think I have open, it seems like there are application-specific uses for this center click. Is that software going to open up? Did I not? There it is. Like if I center click in here. Oh, what was that going on? Oh, we got a firmware update already. Sure, let's do it. Let's brick my mouse. Oh, I need to plug it in physically. Do I have a USB to USB? I have some semblance of that right behind me. See, some kind of USB cord. Oh no, I'm not holding on to one. That one is an extension cord. That's not the right thing. That's not the right thing. Where is a USB? Well, we could try a C to C and see if that works. See if that works off of the C-hub. C-hub to Moose. Do you work? You do. Update. Oh my God, my mouse doesn't work. Oh dear God. This transfers data. I guess it just doesn't transfer enough data for the Stream Deck. What kind of games are you looking for? I don't know, man. I mean, I want, you know, do I want to try Pacific Drive? That one sounds kind of cool. I don't think that would work with a wheel, though, because it seems like you got to get out of the car a lot. Long Drive, or that Long Drive, the French version. I don't know if those are wheel games. Those are kind of like controller games, mouse games. The steering wheel adds this layer of complexity to setup to a game like that. I don't know. Like a chill driving game. SnowRunner does not work with the wheel. We tried SnowRunner. We tried it. It just doesn't work with the wheel. Bus and Cable Car Simulator, San Francisco. What was the other one? There was the one, Davies was playing that, where you could get a bunch of friends in and you were just doing like little driving jobs around a city. CAD mouse update failed. Oh, I hate this. My monitor did this, which was where you get an early version of the thing, and the early version is bugged on the update. Like, it just won't update. I don't know. I guess it feels okay. I didn't like Euro Truck Simulator. I don't know. This is just me. Well, it doesn't tell me there's an update available anymore. Assetto Corsa, Euro Farming Simulator, maybe Farming Simulator. Assetto Corsa was pretty fun. Wait, isn't there a second one of those? We did a little Assetto Corsa, and the road car stuff was the most fun with the wheel. Both have force feedback? Yeah. I don't know about Euro and Farming. I haven't done those with the wheel. Euro Truck, I did a little bit on mouse and keyboard, and it was all right. BeamNG I have, and I've wanted to play, so that might be one. All right, so much for updating firmware. I guess that failed. Farm sim with this setup would be kind of cool. Fatanon was doing a lot of farm sim. Of course, with the puck mouse, could that emulate one of those farmer? No, I don't think so. I don't know. Still trying to learn stuff. Came across control systems. Any info on that? I majored in control systems. That was my major. You're asking exactly the person, although catch up with me like 20 years ago, 17 years ago. Oh my God. I haven't done much in my major since then. Control systems is like the science of the mathematics behind moving something into a position. Like, for instance, if you're trying to move a robot arm into a position, you'll have an error coefficient that gets fed back into the system so that your system mathematically knows to move the thing up and then back down again to some degree. How do you do that? What kind of forces do you use? Do you overshoot and then bounce up and down until it has a depreciating amount of bounce until you're at that position? Do you move up and then slow massively down until you get into that position? It's basically, the PID is go, stop, stop. You're adding two stops, which are related to the derivative, the acceleration, jerk, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. The derivatives of that motion can be used to then stop something. And in doing so, you make things smooth as butter. And if you do things like feed gravity into the system, you have rocket controls, or balancing a broom on your hand. Those are the same thing. Or if you reverse the gravity coefficient, now you are keeping a crane load stable as the crane moves around a shop. So that's what I majored in. That and motors. Motors are just math. They are a solid chunk of math that runs on math magic. That's what motors are. But yeah, it's pretty cool stuff. I don't know. I enjoyed, well, enjoy is kind of a relative term. I like that it was the hardest math that we've ever come up with, and I kind of got good at it. But at the same time, I'm not good at math. It took a lot on my part to kind of learn how to learn in order to get through that. I had to learn a lot about myself. What I did is I signed up for a university that typically has a 5-year program. And I said, I'm not doing 5 years. I'm just going to sign up for the 4-year program with this handy dandy scholarship that they gave me. And then I was like, holy shit, this university got hands. I can't do this. And so I dropped out to the 4-year program, or to the 5-year program. And it was a little bit more relaxed, but not by much. And I lost my scholarship, fuckers. And then over the course of university, I learned how to learn, and my grades got better again. Shit's rough, yo. I've heard iRacing. Is that any good? F1 on PC with force feedback. F1 might be too stressful for your old man bother. I've learned that, you know, as much as I love racing games, I'm like a racing perfectionist. And so I'll end up redoing things. You guys saw me with my summer car. How many times I had to kind of like restart in order to get things right and like totally memorize the course. Even though my summer car, completely primed to make you memorize that course. What they do is they send you into town very cleverly multiple different times in order to perform all the shenanigans involved in my summer car. So you got to go into town, and going into town puts you on the racetrack. And so you naturally learn all of these curves and divvies and divots and little weird counterintuitive off-axis, you know, bumps and stuff like that. And like naturally, like you would if you generally commute on a road, which is what I used to do. I used to back road bomb all of the curves in my town to the degree where I'm surprised I'm still alive. But my summer car surreptitiously teaches you all of that through the mechanics of the game. I think it's insidious, and I love it. Brad Pitt is an F1 movie coming out. I can't think of a fact that I would put on a lower tier in terms of things that I would like to know or ever have known. I got control systems thrown at me trying to keep buck converter at a fixed output voltage. Yeah, that's another thing. Yeah, that is actually related to control systems. Same thing with square waves. Square waves being a function of a bunch of sine waves are very much related to control systems. And one of the coolest parts about control systems was later on when we actually got to the space stuff. Because control systems, like I said, balancing a broom in your hand is akin to keeping a rocket stable or a moon lander. And we were able to program the most efficient moon lander to land with the maximum amount of fuel into 2 lines of code. 2 lines of code. That's it. 2 lines of code. And they were just 2 little simple equations. One of them had T in it. Insane stuff. It's insane stuff. Invented in the 60s, this math. Can you believe, like, 1960, somebody's like, wait, we could do this with this math, and this means that all this physics can go into an equation, and we can just move the rows around, just however the hell we want. It's the 60s. Anything goes. Don't use protection. Like, insane. These are the mathematics of their time. Now this is USB 2. I'm wondering if we can get away with a USB-C cable on this thing, and I can plug it into the router over there, or the hub. I wonder if I could use this one. This one is 240 watts, but I don't know how much data it can actually hold. Oh, there's like protective stuff on it. I gotta peel this off. So we're gonna do that, and then we're gonna fire up Fusion 360. Actually, I should do that now. We'll see if my account's been banned. It probably hasn't. It's funny if I don't give these guys credit for being so amenable towards streamers. I will make them out to be the antagonist when they really just aren't. They've really actually been quite nice and sweet about their stipulations behind me streaming, and they totally don't. They don't chat. They don't have a gun to my head. They don't have a gun to my head. They don't have a gun to my head. Let's start up Fusion and see if it bricks my computer. I actually got this computer to restart by unplugging USB stuff in that hub. I was like, I'm gonna redo all this. I'll unplug it all, and the computer just blue screen. Even wear helmets in F1 NASCAR back in the day. Maybe like leather, just so it was a little bit more comfortable with their heads banging around. I want to keep up with it. They need to relax on what the math. Khan Academy does a really good job of boiling it down into like nothing. Oh, I have to sign in? Oh, geez. Okay. Wow. It forgot who I was. Oh, that means I got to open it up. Let's guess the password. Damn it. I can't guess the password. I got to open it up. All right. Nobody look. Nobody look at the reflection of my glasses in order to get what my passwords are, okay? We're going to have problems if you do, okay? Don't look at the reflection of my glasses. Just don't do it. I had to get the coatings on the glasses. So they were like, do you want non-reflective coating on your glasses? And I'm like, boy, howdy do I for this exact scenario. How can you possibly remember all these passwords? And given the, oh, so it's that one. Okay, so given the current situation, or at least a couple of years ago, the situation with everything always being leaked forever, and always, how are you supposed to trust anyone with your password? I know there are really advanced, like, password rotating services, but it's a mess, man. It's just everything ever is public. But then my Blue Sky account, by the way, and I think I talked about it, but I completely forgot that I don't remember what my Blue Sky account password is. I tried to log in. Oh, your account's been banned. I was like, oh, I remember this now. My Blue Sky account got hacked. And I don't know when I'm going to get it back. I moved completely over there from the Twitter. All right, we got 30 days of login over here. Open AutoCAD Library Identity Manager, TM. I tried these noodles that were from Future Canoe. Future Canoe, I binged recently. Chester Willard on the Discord was talking about Future Canoe, and I was like, holy shit, I love this channel, because it's just like, here's what I got. This is what I'm going to make of it. And I messed up. I love it. I love it as a cooking channel on YouTube, and I wish him all of the success in the world. They seem to have it, but I've been binging Future Canoe, and they did like a rundown on some ramen noodles. And they tried these really wide noodles, and I figured I should give them a go. They were delicious if you like that chili crackle stuff, because that's essentially what the flavoring on them was. They were really good, though. I really appreciated the big, wide, flat noodles, done just like any other ramen. You just throw it in water for 5 minutes, and then, hey presto, you have instant noodles. What I didn't appreciate as a type 1 diabetic is that they were 70 carbohydrates. 70! So my blood glucose level, which I got to put this on a Stream Deck button. We were going to work on that today, but my blood glucose level does not appreciate 70 carbohydrates. This is maybe the least amount of damage. Yeah, I understand using a password manager, but I can't think of any less of a secure thing. Last Miles is rated with a party of 50. I was actually just talking about Future Canoe, which is a YouTube channel that does cooking, Last Miles. And so I tried some of these noodles today, and they were absolutely delicious, but the dividends have been paid. Bad things happen when you try random 70 carbohydrate lunch items. So I gave plenty of insulin. We're just waiting on that to kind of activate. The insulin reaction chart is not active on this. I have that on my phone. How's everybody doing from Last Miles? Hey, guess what? Bring on the noodles. I'm not sharing my nudes with you guys. No, check it out. So through the Fusion 360 Creator Program, here, I haven't, oh, I need to actually like get out of studio mode. Boop, there we go. Sorry, I had studio mode open for the overlay. Through the Fusion 360 Creator Program, I actually got this and this through them. So 3DX Connection wanted to have a little bit of fanfare. They wanted to have people using their hardware. And since their hardware works so well with Fusion 360, they contacted the creator program that I'm recently a part of. And so they sent a bunch of these space mice. If you guys are watching like random like CAD creators and they suddenly have this hardware on their desk, you'll know where it came from. So I'm trying out this whole Bluetooth mouse and puck thing. I would be doing keyboard as well, and maybe I'll buy a new keyboard because I need to spend like $60 on a new one. This thing no longer works wirelessly, and the Bluetooth buttons no longer work. So this has to be wired. But I completely redid all my USB, and I'm trying to like get it back together again. But now I've got this CAD mouse that has 3 buttons on it, and we'll try to give it a little bit of exercise today in going through my obligations with Fusion 360. You clicked update later. You have 14 days until Fusion must update. That's over here. I guess, oh, you know, holding a gun to my head. Okay, let's update, I guess. That's going to start lagging up the rest of my setup, by the way. My setup's going to start lagging all over the place. How are the Last Miles is doing? Oh, my chat froze. Sorry, Last Miles. Maybe you need quality, serious Italian noodles. Let me see. What are these? Ah. Yeah, so for me, it's just been the instant ramen that I can keep down here and then cook in a pot upstairs when it comes to lunchtime. But 70 carbohydrates is not going to cut it for lunch. I need to find other lunch goods. Those noodles go with this sauce. Let's see the sauce. Oh, those are fancy sauces. I need to make my own tomato sauce. I did all of the pickled peppers, and it turns out they're all way too salty. So I've got to figure something else out to do with the peppers. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to empty them into strainers and re-can them. If I strain them, give them a little wash, and then put new pickling stuff around them, I think it'll climatize and become less salty. I think that's my only option, and that's going to be a whole day. I may do that on Saturday. Doing this full screen doesn't really work, does it? I still have to make it small again because you can't see everything because of my windows here. So why didn't this keep moving? I'm going to refresh this. Yeah, okay, so this one still works. When something starts to use up my RAM, Chrome will just abandon Windows. I can set it to not do that, and I probably should, because that sometimes means that the social stream blades, the ones that keep YouTube and Twitch comments up on my screen, those will sometimes get abandoned. That's weird that it doesn't update. See, this doesn't update. We've got all the way at the bottom, we have, hold on. Tray pop, whereas, see down there, Tray pop said pickled peppers, and this isn't updating. Yeah, pickled hot peppers. How do I get you to start responding again? If I refresh this one. Even that one's updated. Instead of hitting refresh, I'm going to hit enter on the URL again. Maybe that'll do it. Tabs. It's not updating. Oh, well, that hasn't gone through yet, has it? There's tabs. Why do you forsake me? I guess we gotta wait until Fusion updates and then I can get it to... There's no Windows machines. Oh, that worked then. Yeah, moving over to Bazite I might do that on some other computers around here. Even this one, I don't know. How does OBS work in Linux? In Linux? Because a lot of the stuff I do is out of browser windows. As long as I can get Arduino to run properly on Linus, then maybe I can move everything over. Works the charm? I know Bazzite as a turnkey solution seems to be like kind of a good way to go. My Legion Go is running off of Bazzite, and I have almost no complaints. I have a couple, but I don't know if I can get my fingies deep into the hardware like I have with this machine, but it's getting to be about time. OBS is really solid on Linux, but you need a monster machine. That's the thing, is one day I'll probably want to upgrade my stream computer to be something, you know, viable, something that is actually useful. This computer, as you can see, is struggling a little bit with the amount of things that it has to work and encode and do at the same time. But yeah, if I could run Bazzite on more of my machines, I think I would appreciate that. We are waiting on Fusion 360 to update, and then we'll open up the CR scanner and see what happens with that. For a production system, you don't think Bazzite is the answer? Well, would I just go with, like, what is it, Fedora? Isn't Bazzite built on Fedora? Bazzite is like a little bit more geared towards handheld and entertainment systems. But it does have all of the stuff that I would need to run a streaming computer all in that little package. Run on 60 FPS and crazy graphics like 4K in your whole new world, just 30 and 1080p is no problem at all. Well, with the handheld, it's weird resolutions and it's an OLED screen and all that stuff. But the nerds, the kids that are working on this stuff really have figured it out. I haven't had a lot of time with a handheld. It's pretty much like a LAN party machine. I would like to make it a little bit more useful, though, as like a laptop style machine. Although a laptop would probably be more useful than just a screen with a computer attached to it. Fedora is okay on everyday desktop. I run it on 2 laptops. Yeah, so for like a production streaming machine, what would I use? Everybody would say, just console. Make your own from a kernel. It's like, nerds. Who has that kind of time? No, that's why I'm saying like Bazzite, because it's stupidly turnkey. Are we frozen? Is that what's going on? No. You're not allowed to freeze. The other thing is running this program. This program, no Linux support. So there are things that you can put together that make it run on Linux, and I haven't tried them. I build my own. How can you do that? I don't understand. It would be nice to control what goes in the computer, especially on a Linux build, because Linux isn't frickin' phoning home. It's not telling anybody anything. It's my system. Oh, cheeky bastard. This thing is frozen at 48. We're going to let it try to sort itself out. Yeah, see, there it goes. 61. Okay. No, you shut up, ads. Nah. There we go. Okay, sorry. It is a Granger ad. That is actually relevant, but it's not a Twitch ad. It's a YouTube ad because I'm playing this on YouTube. Because I can't figure out what music to play ahead of stream. Try to get something going here. Hold on. Ugh. We're just updating Fusion so that we can actually hit the ground running today. Ubuntu, Debian, Popos. Mr. Popos. For a production system, at least I'd pick between those. In that case, I'd use Ubuntu because I have some past experience using Ubuntu and Lubuntu. And then I have a touchscreen laptop sitting over there that I probably want to put some kind of mutant form of Linux on so it actually runs smoothly. Because it's got Windows 10 on it, but it sure as hell doesn't run smoothly. It's an old laptop. It's an old laptop. Best Linux for the average user is Linux Mint. I hear a lot about Mint. Denuvian, I don't know anything about. Where you're really clean. You're not awake at night and Shane talking to mommy somewhere. Talking to the mothership. Yeah, I don't know, like, It would be nice to go Linux on a lot of these machines. I think I've about had it up to here with Windows and their shenanigans. The more they start installing AI tools onto my machine. And Linux is getting more and more capable because Microsoft is pushing the envelope of what people will tolerate more and more. So I'm starting to think in that direction. It's not going to be long now until Windows 10 is depreciated, much against the rest of our wills, and a whole bunch of infrastructure goes tits up because Microsoft thinks everybody needs to have the latest and greatest, even if you're a traffic sign in the middle of nowhere that hasn't been updated in 7 years. Pour a glass of water, and I see that signature pattern of a dog hair sitting on the surface. Yeah. These are the shortcomings of owning a Corgi. I can't tell you guys how much it fills me with life and joy that it's actually kind of clean over here. Still a few too many wires. A few too many wires for my liking. I'll have to worry about how to coordinate all of them. And we got to get that Stream Deck XL running. I think I can cut and paste the tiles from one to the other, and then I'll expand them out and move some stuff around in order to get this thing to be functional again. But mainly the test is that whatever I'm running right here, if it's running two of these things, we've got plenty of overhead in terms of the bandwidth that I can run in this area. I can probably move the mixer over to here as well, so we can have the webcam, the mixer, the keyboard. The mouse is no longer tethered by your mortal cables, and then we can have one of the Stream Decks, just the big one, so that when I do a gaming stream, I can move this over to the other desk, and I'll still have control of all my scenes and my comedy scenes and whatnot. So I'll move this and the camera and the mixer over to the other desk so that my final mix still goes into this computer the same way. And then I'll have my computer audio going into the mixer via USB. It's a lot. It's a lot of stuff to worry about. This camera seems a little laggy. No, actually, it's fine. If you want to run 60 FPS and crazy graphics like in 4K, then you're in a whole new world. I hear if you have AMD for, full AMD system, that Bakelite is really good for that. I don't know, though. Oh, that's going to be loud. Mute. All right, the mute button is a little laggy. Come on. Maybe that was me. That's probably me. All right, let's get this in a more reasonable size because we're also going to open up CRscan and then my computer's going to take a poop. Oh, we still have to actually initiate the update. It's still going very slow. Oh, are we at 99%? That's what it is. Yep, 98. Nope, get out of there. I was looking up how to connect the Drivo keyboard, which is the totally reputable and very well-known brand of keyboard, tiny little mechanical keyboard that I have here as my backup keyboard because both of my Code 10 keylesses are dead, and we need to go back into this stuff in order to fix them. Yeah, this computer's due for some updates, huh? But it's my production machine. It's like my baby. I don't want to do anything to it because it works okay, and I know when it doesn't work. I know how it works because I know how it doesn't work. AMD Radeon Pro on my machine, and it works, and that is all. I mean, I went full 6960 or no 6900 and 5950X on the machine behind me, which is still my modern gaming PC. As much as it pains me to know that this hardware is like 5 years old. It's still my super duper capable gaming PC. And honestly, everything everybody told me about AMD, they were telling me to worry about AMD. Worry about AMD. What about drivers? What about drivers? What about drivers? I haven't had a single driver issue on that machine. Now, I'm not picking up AAA games all over the place, right? I was considering playing the Oblivion update, but then I remembered when I played Oblivion, I was a completely different person, and I had time. I don't have time for the amount of content that Oblivion has in it. I need something a little bit smaller and more experimental and worth picking up for a brief amount of time. Okay, Fusion, are you done? Are you done? At some point, we'll have to move over to hubs, too. I don't even know what that entails. Are you kidding me? Come on! 98! Yeah, you'll get a notification when you're done. As if I don't know that my computer is lagging extremely. I mean, I'm like a slideshow over here. I look like the Aha Take On Me music video if I've just ran a little outline filter on myself. Can't please get 99. Can we get 99, please? I would like to start this project today. Is Stream Deck working on something wireless? Let's look at what their product lineup is. I'm not endorsed by them in any way. They're just an easy way to automate some stuff. And actually, it would be good if we did a project where we try to make our own button board and have it be recognized as a Stream Deck. That would be a really fun one. So they're making smaller ones that are more affordable. They have something with scissors. They're scissoring. Why are these scissor keys? What is that? Doesn't make sense. I wonder if that has a better feel to it. That's interesting. Okay, can I just see the products? Can we just do that, please? So they have cameras, they have teleprompters. What the hell is that? Oh, is it a microphone? Yeah, so they're going for every piece of stream hardware. Huh. And a capture card, too. I wonder how it is. They have all this stuff? And I think they have some models that have actual physical buttons on them now. And like faders and stuff. Oh, it's got a little window. I could use that. Like I said, I can 3D print windows for these if I want. Yeah, I don't have the money for this stuff. I should try to get a sponsorship. Although for them, they would never put a picture of my shop on their website. There's no way. Oh, do they have a camera arm? No, that's a microphone arm. There's no way. Yeah, it's a teleprompter. It's just like a tablet and a mirror, and it'll just run text for you. Some people need that. Some people need that to do because they'll write scripts and then read the script and then cut that up with the video that they got. What's up, 3D Lasers? We're getting there. Is Drivo actually reputable, or were you kidding? It was whatever I found on Amazon at the time. It was like $30 or something. I'm thinking about getting a new keyboard though and putting it onto Bluetooth so that I get rid of more wires. That still means I need to recharge things, which is why I really don't like to use wireless mice, but this one was given to me by 3D Connection, so I don't know all the positives about it yet. I'm still using it. At least it's got a power button. That puts them better than Logitech in 2007. I had a Logitech mouse that I was carting to and from college in 2007, and they didn't have a power button on the damn thing. So it was very frustrating to use because it would always move inside of my backpack and then discharge. Although these actually did also come with carrying cases. So for the whole CAD setup with the puck and everything, I can put it into its own container. And then on top of that, what I would love to do is it's a 3-button mouse, which I'm not keen on. I don't like the 3-button mouse. I like the Microsoft mouse shape. That's the mouse shape that I love and I'm used to. You know, you pinch it with your pinky and your thumb, but then 1, 2, 3, I don't know. But anyway, if I get these working with the portable system, I wonder if I can get Fusion. Whoa, that was a little bit of lag there. I wonder if I can get Fusion working with Windows 10 will no longer be supported by Microsoft on October 14th, 2025. Fusion product support will require Windows 11, 23H2 or later. Can you guys not do that? Because I'm not going to be switching to Windows 11 anytime soon. I know some people say it's fine, but it's like, I'd rather go to Linux. I would rather go to Linux. I'd rather go to Linux. All right, so does the 3D mouse work right off the bat? Let's check. Let's just open up something. We can go to the Julian's absurd volume mixer. Let's open version 1 and just take a look at the 3D model. See if that works with the 3D mouse. 3D model, 3D mouse. Match made in heaven. Take your time opening up. Ooh, this is slow. In spite of all of my upgrades to the USB stuff on this computer, I mean, maybe the computer's just kind of getting its sea legs, but no, it doesn't do anything. Hold on. Give it a second to get up on Bluetooth. Nope, we're not active yet. Hold on. Let's open up 3D connection software. Oh, is it not powered on? Wait a minute. Check the power button. There we go. Uh-oh. It calibrated wrong. It calibrated wrong. It's floating away. Turn it off and on again. Let's go back home. I had picked up the mouse when I turned it on, so. Okay, turned it on again. There we go. So with the lightest of touch, I can be totally confused about what direction this thing moves in. Where are we going away? I need to go closer. No, not. Okay. Tilt is the opposite of the direction that it should be. Okay. Let's go back. If I center click. Oh, center click does this. It does the lateral move. And then control click. Control center click, yeah. Control right click, no. Alt click, no. Shift click, no. Scroll in and out, of course, does that. Alt center, no. Alt shift center. Oh! Ah! Oh! Wait, I have to go to Alt shift center in order to move my view around? I guess with this thing plugged in, it kind of changes the control scheme. Back home. All right, so do I actually have this thing like backwards? If I move the puck forwards laterally, we go back. Yeah, okay. Yeah, you need to turn the sensitivity way down. That's kind of what I'm getting at here. 3D connection app. Where'd it go? There we go. Oh no, this one doesn't need to speed. Well, this one could use a little bit. Is that live? Yeah, a little bit more like that. Too little. See, with the SteelSeries mouse, I have a lot of settings that I can set up, including like how fast the acceleration is and stuff. Let's pause this and I'll just explain myself again. All right. So we were working on just sorting out a couple things here and there with software and getting Fusion 360 running. It's always like, you know, start it up, go get a cup of coffee, come back and see what it has to say for itself. We are working with a couple new pieces of hardware in here, trying to get Chrome to actually like refresh this page properly and get it working again. Yeah, so didn't stream on Tuesday. We had Windows sills being painted, which leads to Burn the Subs camera being completely displaced. I got some things in the mail. I got an email that said, hey, Fusion 360 creators, do you guys want this 3DX connection wireless mouse and 3D, whatever it's called, space mouse, wireless, and CAD mouse compact wireless? Now, I'm not an advocate for wireless tools. I know they've gotten really good. You guys have told me that they've gotten really, really good. You don't have to worry about battery life. You know, everything's honky-dory. I don't have to worry about this stuff. I can cart it around. These both have an on-off switch on it, which I like. I had a wireless mouse in college, and I didn't really do anything with it after that. I always thought it was a little bit wonky, slow, and weird. But I'm actually not having that much trouble with this stuff, even though this was already disconnected because it's not registering me moving it around. This is a 3-button mouse, which makes it kind of a weirdo in terms of all the mice I've used, but the shape is a Microsoft mouse shape with the front and back button on the side, which is what SteelSeries does. So I already like the shape of the mouse. It's got a little bit of weight to it, but not too much. I like a heavier mouse than this. This thing is a goddamn hockey puck. This thing is heavy because they want that base to be completely saddled in one position. If you twist this thing all the way on smoother desktop surfaces, it'll kind of spin a little bit. These also all came from, these also came with a carrying case. So pretty cool. These are USB-C. They recharge and they communicate with the base on USB-C. And I just installed a USB-C hub on this desk in order to take high-speed signals as far as possible from the streaming computer. This has actually enabled me to plug the Stream Deck XL, counterintuitively, plug the Stream Deck XL and a Stream Deck both into this USB 2 hub, and they both work. Whereas before, I had USB 2 from this hub going all the way back to my computer, and yet this thing didn't allow me to plug in the XL. The Stream Deck worked fine, the regular, but the XL didn't. So now with the USB 2 cable from the XL going into this hub and then going into a USB-C hub, I guess the data travels a little bit nicer. So that's an advantage. We're going to try to use the Creality CRscan on that hub as well. This thing lags the computer when it's running. So I have a feeling it's not going to work that way, but we'll try it. Anyway, so with new hardware comes new weird mouse feel. I feel like the acceleration is okay on this thing, but I haven't quite gotten the feel for it yet. The SteelSeries mice have all kinds of settings that you can configure, including like the DPI and stuff like that on the mouse. And so I had all these different, oh, that's what that button does? Oh, I don't like that. I had like DPI settings on the center button there so that if I had to do like a quick move, I could click into the other mode. I like the MX Master 3 from Logitech. Everybody loves the Logitech mice. I'm glad not to use it. What just happened? Why did it do this? Wait, what the hell just happened? Ooh, there's some bugginess. So the mouse uses Bluetooth. It also has its own dongle that I don't know what protocol that uses. But when I plugged Bluetooth in, the funny thing about Bluetooth is that Bluetooth, you can plug it in right there and your mouse can end up being extremely laggy. Possibly because of all the data it shares with all the other USB stuff that I have going on. But it could also be that there's a piece of metal right here and Bluetooth does not like to go through, it's 2.5 gigahertz. So it doesn't go through your body even, which means that all of the Bluetooth low energy accessories that I'm wearing sometimes don't even communicate with themselves on my body. They're that distance apart. Yet sometimes I go upstairs and it works fine. So over multiple rooms. So that's just something weird about Bluetooth. I moved the Bluetooth dongle from there all the way over to the this front panel right here. So that's where the Bluetooth dongle is. It's communicating all the way over here to where the mouse is. There might be a little bit of lag, but it's not enough for me to fully notice, and I'm not gaming with this thing, so. Good afternoon, oh bother, and chat. How's it going, my Aegis? Big configurable thumb button. Oh, that's the thing. Yeah. I had a 4K camera connected to my USB 3 hub. Unable to get 4K resolution, but had to connect directly to the PC. Yeah, webcams can be very moody. The Logitech webcams in particular, you need to be as far away from each subsequent webcam as possible because your computer needs to have a completely different USB address. Sometimes they don't. It's like they may not use the full USB address to identify the camera. So if they're plugged into the same hub, they get like a similar header or something like that. And so then your computer will just select the wrong one. So when you move it to a different thing, when you're doing a particular like streaming with multiple webcams, these are 1080p. I'm glad because I don't want to store 4K, but these are all plugged into USB expansion cards in the computer. Each camera gets its own expansion card. It is a nightmare. USB on a streaming setup is a nightmare. Yeah, it's called the Maxwell equations. Gonna do an easy 2-button Bluetooth project soon. The Bluetooth Low Energy standard is a giant PDF document that you can just open up. Where did my 3D connections software go? Which one of y'all is that? Hold on, let's open that up. All right, so let's take a look at this. So turn the speed way down so that I'm not overwhelmed. Then, why are these, wait, what do you mean they're not active? Oh, active in this current test? No. Want all those. And some of these I would like, I mean, I guess I gotta click close and actually test it over here. Okay, zoom is backwards. Oh, this is, whoa. Is this application specific? Neat. Wait, so now I can't get to the... So if I focus in on an object, will this stay on that object? Yeah, it seems to. If I... Oh, I don't have like back and forth tilt. So yeah, so in Fusion, Fusion works on putting focus on a particular object that you're looking at. So how do I get out of this situation? Oh, there we go. By lifting. Look, if I look here, click on that, and now that's going to be my, it should be my center of rotation for all of my movements. Okay, that's getting kind of intuitive as I keep using it. You have to turn the speed way down for it to actually be meaningful. But if I wanted to, we could like drop in on this. Ah! And look at all the, look at the interior. Oh my God! Whoa! We're inside the PCB. We can see the electrons. I still can't control it smoothly. Still can't control it smoothly. It's not as smooth as I would like it to be. But that's me. That's me learning it. Now, I've had a space mouse before. I have the wired space mouse from like 2,000 years ago. It's at least 10 years old. I'm not totally sure how useful this is going to be for my purposes in Fusion, but hey, you know, if we need to get into a nook and cranny somewhere. My only problem is now that I've got this thing, are my movement controls the same as before? Yes, they are. Okay, so I can still use the mouse and keyboard movement controls, which I find to be much more intuitive. Now, in terms of using the mouse, I seem to have taken to it fairly quickly, and it seems to be responding to my stuff decently well. What does that center click button do? Oh, that pans. Okay, well, that'll be something I get used to and then wonder, what Doom wad is it? You know, I never really got into wads. I never really got into them. What was I playing around that time? It was like Nintendo. All right, well, part of it is that we haven't used Fusion in a little while, which is why we're doing a hashtag Autocad ad. I've had this project. This is like a smaller thing that I've wanted to do for ages. What I've wanted to do is import this shape into Fusion so that I can trace it with some Bezier curves and create my own airbag for my steering wheel project. Now, I don't know if you guys remember this thing at all. We have a little bit more software to get through as well, but this is the steering wheel project. This is something that took me several years to get to the place where it is right now. And where it is right now is a functional place. This thing works like an actual steering wheel. I got an airbag I can send you. I have the detonators, 2 detonators from the BMW airbag sitting in an ammo can over there. And I want to do something with them, but not in here. I'm not Uo's lab. Like, I'm not going to like tape screwdrivers to it and set off the airbag and like fucking blow up half my face and become Two-Face. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not Uo's lab. I don't do stuff that's like fundamentally unsafe. If I cross that line, I could get lots of viewers. There's a trade-off, the art and the artist. I don't want to sell out my safety for viewers. Also, because detonating stuff like an airbag is like a one-time thing. It just goes pop, right? And it's really violent and it puts dust everywhere. So maybe one day I'll hook it up to a couple wires and make it go pop in the neighborhood and the police will come. But this project was a long project. Now I am never going to put something in here that will be explosive. I'm not going to do that. And I'm not going to make something that sprays me. As you guys just want to spray the streamer. I don't get what that obsession is. This is an actual Mercedes AMG steering wheel. It's refurbished, but it was expensive. This was an expensive buy. This is hooked up to a Mercedes spindle, which was not expensive. That was $20. And I took my bandsaw and I cut it in half. And then I took one of these pressure mounts for an actual pulley, which is what this is. This thing wants to expand, and it's very lightly expanding, which is not actually what's supposed to happen here. This thing is supposed to drive into the bottom piece, and that's supposed to expand this bottom piece against a pulley. So I could put another pipe on this, but I just decided not to. It would have been a good idea to put a little pipe on the outside. But this is enough pressure that the force of the spindle doesn't overcome the grip of the steering wheel. So I guess we're just going to leave it right now. It ain't broke, so I'm not going to fix it. It bolts in from above, and then I put side bolts. I machined side bolts onto it so that it would attach to the Mercedes AMG spindle that I cut out of a steering column. It's a little bit rudimentary. It's not a quick connect. It really should be some type of quick connect, but the pièce de résistance of the entire thing is this right here. This right here, in a time when fusion wasn't advanced enough to do fully enclosed circles, we tricked it into doing fully enclosed exposed circles. Now, if you're looking for a slip ring is what they're called. This is a slip ring. There are industrial slip rings. Those exist, but they also have the industrial premium pricing. So we, in the age of $5 circuit boards, now keep in mind that $5 circuit board thing is definitely going to be affected by tariffs, depending on what kind of a hissy fit we get in the next couple weeks. We might just luck out and there are no additional hissy fits over tariffs. But we know how hissy fit prone things are right now. So there may be huge tariffs on these circuit boards. So I don't know how the math would math out if you've got like an industrial supplier in America versus circuit boards from China, if you're still going to be coming out on top on that equation. But we came out on top on this equation because these are $5 for 5 of them. I only need 2. Put each of them juxtaposed to each other. And then I took contacts, Molex connector contacts, and I soldered 1, 2, 3 on each band. They were offset so that there's constant force of contact on the entire ring. And then we put a bunch of dielectric grease in there to keep it from squeaking when you turn. I don't know what the shape of those are currently, but I think they're probably in pretty good shape. Every time we power it up, it works perfectly fine, and there's no skipping. Now, why'd you go through all that trouble, Bother? Did you know that in a steering wheel, there are wires that connect? Yes, there are. I know there are. I know this. I know this. You guys always tell me stuff like I don't know it. Straw man. The slip ring allows us to go 360 degrees. When you have the servo motor powered up and the software running, it has virtual end stops. End stops are there to emulate what would happen if you tried to turn your wheels all the way to the point where it destroys your vehicle. They have rubber end stops that your steering equipment will hit up against and not be able to move anymore. We don't have those kinds of problems with an industrial servo motor on a direct drive setup. The click spring that you would buy, and I have one around here somewhere, that would go on the steering column is a flat cable that is wrapped around the steering wheel a couple times, then it doubles back and it wraps back a couple times. And what that does is as you move the steering wheel around, the part of the cable that's wrapped in one direction will increase the number of times it's wrapped in that direction, and the other one will decrease the number it's wrapped in the opposite direction, and vice versa when you go the other way. So you will run into a plastic end stop. This setup weighs 18 pounds. This is 18 pounds of hardware sitting on a 80/20 rail with a big clamp on the bottom of it. When I move this thing around, I'm grabbing it anywhere I can, including the big, thick wheel. And so when I grab it by the big, thick wheel and I grab it by the servo mount, this thing can go all kinds of distances for all kinds of directions. And when this thing powers on, it registers whatever position you're in as 0. There's actually a button. You can configure one of your buttons in your setup to be the recentering button. So given all those variables, it would stand to reason that if I put a clock spring on this thing, I could either be off center or I could actually break the hardware by moving it around. So this was the natural solution, is having 360 degrees of movement on the wheel. Now this plugs into a base, and that's what all these plugs over here are. We put our own custom encoder on the back. Turns out the bolt patterns are, I wouldn't say universal, but they were the same bolt pattern. We were able to bolt it directly. And we got all this hardware working. It was pretty cool. Played a couple games with it. But turns out it's not that great of a look to be staring into the abyss here. We've got a big plate that can be pressed on in order to do the horn. And we do have that registered as a button. So if I really wanted to, I could add a horn to whatever game that I'm playing. I would like to do that. So I would like to actually scan this thing with the CRscan and be able to fit an airbag to this and get that out of the way. Maybe just fully get the wire out of the way. I'm not going to remember the way that it plugs in. So maybe we just leave that on there and it'll be this weird aberration at the base of the steering wheel. Technically, I could just print out this. Just this surround. The two like connecty thingies, which will be big hooks. Those are going to be a hell to print though. If I do the actual hooks, that means I'm going to need to use these screwdriver divots on the side. These are little ingresses for a screwdriver to come in and press up against this spring. What if you wired in a clown flower? Come on. All right, CRscan. We've used this thing before. We scanned the middle finger over there. We scanned this. And we got a pretty good scan out of it. It was actually a fairly detailed scan. It's such a great idea that I illuminated my idea light for you. What a good idea. What a great idea. That's such a good idea. You really came up with a good idea. I don't know what the disconnect is with chat. I know you're just clowning on me, but Twitch chat just wants blood. I'm not going to do that. That's too sensational. Wait. This doesn't light up. They show on the thing over here, they show. How do I go back on this? Whoa, that was back on the thing. Wait, so, oh, I see. This is customized for Autodesk Fusion. I see. They show the blue light on this thing, right? But there's no blue light. There's no blue light. They're lying. They're liars. Like, there's a light here. I don't know what direction this is supposed to face to. I assume that the text is supposed to be right side up. So. Can you guys not suggest airbag stuff for like 1 second? Go over some of your thoughts and maybe try to vet them out a little bit. It's part of the engineering process. So what, I mean, if I'm plugged in, maybe if I'm plugged in with USB, it'll light up from there. Oh, that's where that is. Speed. Okay. Well, if I go back to here, slow that down there, that makes it much more wieldable. Oh yeah, that feels so much better. Look at that connector. It's huge. The 3DX connection logo is the front of the device. But am I like missionary position, or what's going on here? Blue lights are visible when you're moving the hat. Doubt. This thing is like moving stuff in OBS right now. Ain't no way. Ain't no thing. Maybe that's what it wanted to, the software wanted to update. Maybe it does it after the software update that failed already. Was there, did you have one? No. This one had an update, but it failed. And it's also not getting battery info. That's weird. It has battery info and set up USB devices. I know, Bluetooth. Yeah, 99, 100. But it's not reporting here. This is not my first foray into Bluetooth devices, but it is my first in 8 years. I haven't had anything Bluetooth. I appreciate my wires. I like wires, but I'm trying this hardware out because it was free and they provided it, and it's kind of neat. And it also frees up my desk a little bit. I'll be honest, things have gotten pretty dire over here over the course of the years of streaming, where the clutter just kind of gets a little too much. So having a couple wireless things out here might be kind of cool. You know, we'll be getting rid of the Stream Decks. This Stream Deck is going to move to my main PC. And then this one, I'm probably going to get a new keyboard. See, photo in general and Discord. This is not such a big sticking point. I really am just kind of joking around with you guys. But let's check main. Yeah, okay, so yours is lighting up. Mine is not. Okay, that's a good little sticking point there. This one just isn't lighting up. I don't know what the deal is. This lights up. Okay, those open up the wheel. Batons. Common tools, middle mouse function, because that's that one. Swap middle and right mouse buttons. Oh, that's so tempting, because that's kind of how I've been clicking. Nah. Go back to you. Advanced. Calibrate. Do not touch the cap while the LEDs are blinking. Okay, hold on. Calibration is complete. Okay. Sorry, I've got that music stuck in my head. So that's for OBS 64. This is for Autodesk. Autodesk has many more functions that I have not learned about yet. We'll get there. LED's active. Let's go here and actually move it around. So I click on that. I want to get close to that. It's much more intuitive when you slow it down. Woof. Although it's still a little bit funky, and maybe that's down to the settings that I'm using. It might be refocusing on stuff as my mouse moves. But it's also still not lighting up. Maybe I need to plug it into USB to get it to light up. Maybe it only turns those on when it calibrates and isn't plugged in. I don't know. Yeah, maybe. All right. I don't know. It's hard to beat the king when it comes to Fusion 360 movement. because this gets very intuitive. If I want to look at that, I can move in on it this way. And then we're orbiting it without using the space mouse. So with the space mouse, click on it. If I'm careful about, and I just get familiar with using the space mouse, that can give me more natural movements. I'm usually drifting off to the side, maybe because my mouse isn't centered. I'll look at the other one. Dun, 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 dun. That's no moon. It's a plastic rivet. Huh, okay, well that's gonna take some getting used to. For now, let's boot up CRscan and just use all the RAM on my computer. This is gonna be all the RAM. Now I'm way over to the side here. You guys see me, I'm like a half of my profile over here because the steering wheel's big and my leg doesn't fit into the desk with the steering wheel on it. Now we could just like cut this here, move this over, but I don't know if I want something to be over here. Window controls. I've got that panel that's got the like lighting controls. That lighting control panel could go over here and we could make a Linbus thing for it for more buttons. I think that would be really fun to do at some point. That would be another Fusion project because we could just make a panel that it clicks into and then we can program ATtiny to do our bidding. Or an ESP. This thing doesn't have anything wireless on it though, and I think I want to keep it that way. Why must technology be so fickle? I know, seriously. So this is USB 2 and it's got a really thick cable on it, but it goes USB 2 to USB 3. So I wonder if I plug in one of my eeny weeny USB-C extensions, or this thing here, this 250 watt USB-C cable, will it be able to actually use the CRscan, or am I going to have to plug this in over at the computer directly? Probably it'll be a case where I need to plug it in all the way over there. That was gross. It's earwig season, and I was boiling water for tea. Just as I went to take off the water, I saw the earwig floating. Blah, blah, blah. That's nasty. Well, at least you caught it. Jeez. At least you didn't have some nice earwig tea. I visited a friend's place in Nantucket when I was a kid, and it was also earwig season, and they had their roof rack had some of the plastic missing, and there was a colony of those mofos inside of that. There's no way that an earwig does not give you the heebie-jeebies. That's just what that bug does. Like, the human brain is programmed to get the heebs and the jeebs when they see something like that. I even struggle with the house centipedes, even though house centipedes are bros through and through. The house centipedes are ride or die. They got your back. Because they eat all kinds of other nasty stuff. All right, so what I'm going to try to do, we'll see if this works at all, use this cable that I just bought. Hopefully it'll work here. With a USB-C hub. Let's open up the CRscan software that we played with the other day and see if there are a slew of updates. CRscan. What the hell is your call? What is your software called? Wait, is it in my recent programs? 3D connection viewer, Stewart 3D wire, 3D connection pairing, 3D scan. Is that the right one? No, that is definitely not the right one. 3D viewer, 3D connection is a new folder. I guess I've got 3D connection pairing software. Notifications, 7-zip. Ableton Live? No. Did I uninstall it? Okay, let's look at the CRscan software. CRscan software. CRscan ferret. Start menu. No. 3D Stream Deck. Add or remove programs. Not what I'm looking for. Did I get it standalone? Wait a minute. Downloads. Tractable, super slicer, open builds, CRscan. Oh, there it is. CRscan. There it is. Verify publisher. Oh my God, that's a bunch of Chinese characters. Do you want to allow this app to make changes on your device? I guess. I don't know why it's warning me of this again. Critical announcement. If the Raptor series scanner does not identified by the IR camera and depth camera. What? I don't have the Raptor. I'm too poor. Please upgrade the software. All right, update. So the Fusion team wanted to provide Creality scanners to the whole team. I was not part of that. I bought this ahead of time because I was like a birthday present to myself because I'm just sad like that. And so I bought this with my own money. I was not provided it. I could have gotten it for free. That saddens me. I could have spent my money on other things. My limited resources. We're going to do a little update and let's see if we can get a good scan going for the steering wheel, because this is something that I've wanted to do for quite some time. Oh, that's... Jeez. Okay, studio mode. Frameless chat. This is something that I need to turn into one of the Stream Deck buttons, which is somehow to refresh the cache on that chat window. And then frame chat I need to go into as well. And then hit refresh the cache. Because as we open programs on this computer, Chrome is parking all of its windows. Now, it could be the solution as well as just tell Chrome not to park the windows and just be slow for once. I would rather have it on a Stream Deck key though, because then Chrome will stay snappy. I've moved over to Firefox on my other machine and it kind of lags. And I think part of it is you have to tell, there are plugins that you can run that will tell YouTube that you're actually Chrome, and then it won't slow you down. Raptor X. Okay, what a, hello? This program is a little bit much. Do you know how the 3D scanner works? Probably in a very similar way to the Kinect. It has dual cameras that are separated by as much distance as possible, but then it also has an infrared filtered camera that does IR time of flight. So it does a point cloud and then gets a time of flight from that point cloud, and then it also does the stereoscopic vision, which also gives it color information and stuff like that. And it has accelerometers in it, so it knows when you're waving it around. 6 axis of freedom. Scanner fails to detect by a USB. That's for the Raptor X. Please ignore. Complete. Okay. So I love this technique where they flash their better products in front of you when you open the program and say, hey, before you use our program, keep in mind we've got better stuff. And you don't have the good one. You've got to scroll down on your list in order to go to the shitty one. So, oh, look at all these features you don't have. So anyway, let's go to the one we have. Oh, this is just opening the thing. Oh my God. I can talk smack about this thing all I want, because, okay, can we, can't do a new project. What? Oh, scanner undetected. All right, so let's try this. I'm going to try this random 250 watt USB cable that I got. It's a little lengthy. It's not like unwieldy like an actual USB-C data cable. So I don't know if I bought a data only cable or a charging only cable. I'm going to be pretty sad if I did. But if this actually connects and is functional, then I can totally justify my purchase of this stupid cable. I really hope it works. I'm going to plug it in over here. And then it detects. It's charging only. It's charging only, isn't it? It's not an My disappointment is palpable. Okay, so these cables are crap and I spent too much money on them. Do I have a big, thick data cable that isn't USB 2.0? I don't think so. I think we have to use the provided USB 2.0 cable. I don't think I have a data cable that's robust enough, and I don't think these ones that I got are gonna do it. These are too thin. They're way too thin. They're also too short. I'm just gonna try it anyway. Nope. We're gonna have to go through the hub. The problem is I just bought all these and they're USB-C to USB-C, so they'll live with my charging bricks. The charging bricks will have charging only cables for a while until the price of USB-C data cables goes down. So maybe I'll put stickers on them or something. So should I go through a separate hub? Let's try it. Let's go through a separate hub and see how the data routing goes. Because I also bought a USB-C to USB 2 hub, unpowered, just to torture my system and see what it's capable of. There's more plugs. Okay, where's my stool? Where can I sit? I need to sit down. Ow! Oh, yeah, these are heavy wattage chargers. These do like 250 watts. The cable that I just threw back did. I just need myself on this rail right here. God, this steering wheel project is too big. It's too big. There's like a lightning bolt symbol that indicates that it's a charging only. I'll have to look for that in the future. This one just says anchor on it. I wonder though if the anchor ones can actually do some form of data. The thing about it is for the CRscan, it probably doesn't do enough data. It'll probably do some data, it just doesn't quite do enough. Yeah, see, that's just not connecting. Anyway, this is for the synthesizer. So we'll move that back down to the power thing. This gives my my connectors a little workout though. An app on Android called Ampere. Yeah, and I've also been meaning to get one of those little plug-in Jimmy Johns. Those little ones that you plug in line with the cable, and it'll tell you what the amount of current that it takes is. I think I have Ampere on the Android. All right, so we're just gonna use the one that comes with it. Unless I got, wait, no. I think it only came with one cable. Yeah, it only came with one. What are these? These are like charging cables. Weird. All right, put that away. All right, yeah, I'm gonna have to buy like an expensive USB-C to C cable if I want to run this thing here. One thing that I would love to do is to see whether or not I can plug this into the Legion Go and do scanning with that. I think I'll be able to, although I don't know if it has Linux software, so maybe not. Because that's my second most capable machine is the Legion Go. And if I could take it places and do scanning, then I could get scans of things like, you know, parts of cars, stuff like that. USB-A to C. I wanted to go C to C because I've got a USB-C hub and I'm trying to keep the speed up. If I plug directly into that USB-C hub, then I don't have to involve another hub in the path. We're going to involve another hub in the path just because that's funny and fun and whatever. But I was hoping that some of those cables would carry enough data, but this is a thick cable. I have a feeling because of the IR blaster on this thing, they probably want a lot of power. I don't know how many watts this thing uses up. Let's see. 5 volt, 2 amp. Oh. So I guess it just uses the full USB 2 spec. Oh yeah, because this is a USB 2 cable. It's not negotiating for more power over this. It's thinking. I saw it think. It thought. It did think. It did a thunk. No. We're going to have to plug in directly. It just does not like the path. Also, it's totally off key for that. I don't care. Scanner is undetected. All right, so we're unplugging all this crap. All this crap that I bought. Useless. Useless without the right kind of cables. I wanted to see if the CRscan could function in parallel with the camera and all the other data signals that I have coming in through that. But we're just going to go directly to the front of the rack over here on these keyway panels that I have. One of these days, I need to fully break down this setup and totally redo it, given the knowledge that I have now. The things that I know how to do and don't know how to do, and do know how to don't do, and don't know how to do. I've never pooped, not even once. I guess we got to go up here because these are server. That's the Elgato. That's my BFF. It's Willow. Let's go all the way up here. This is kind of a wonky connection because it's supposed to go onto like a front panel, and we haven't designed the front panel for it yet. This is not a case for well, it might be a case for the 3D scanner, but not really. It's just work that I have to do. I have to build a slightly pushed out panel that'll go in this square and be able to mount that thing and then a power button thing, which is easy enough to do. Maybe the next round of upgrades to that computer, I can do some of that stuff, but I need to totally redo how the rack is set up and everything. There's a lot of work to do around here. Hire an intern. Okay, so CRscan. Let us CRscan something. CRscanimate. This is a new project for sure. Project name. The Tweel. You guys hear about the Tweel? You know, this new thing that comes up every 4.5 years where they say we finally did it. We invented a car wheel that doesn't need air. And they keep going on and on about this, but the first thing you think of is like, well, what if you're on a gravel road? It's going to fill up all those little nooks and crannies in that wheel. Object. Face, body, normal. It's normal. This is normal. Size. 250, 250, 250, 500, 500, 500. Let's get the Jacose ruler. I don't know if Jacose wanted to be cemented into the lore of this channel, but he certainly cemented himself into the lore of this channel because listen, guys, I'm not a mechanical engineer, right? I'm an electrical engineer who just does cool stuff, right? Which means that I'm also not a machinist, and I just don't, some tools I just don't have because I don't know that I should have some tools. And so Jacose took it upon himself to figure out how to send me 2 of these metric, just flat rulers that are just, you know, moderately accurate. They've got some conversion tables on the back. Turns out these things are pretty useful. And I know you may scoff and laugh at that because most of my audience is Europeans and that's what they do best. But I did not know that having just a simple flat ruler that you could go, you know, smack, oh, that's 300 millimeters, like totally useful. So it's shocking. So we are somewhere around, I think 200 millimeters is a pretty good estimate because 200 by 200, we're not scanning the entire wheel. We could scan the entire wheel, in which case 500 by 500 would be more appropriate because this is about circumference of like 350. 300 is here. Well, if we go all the way from the outside, around the outside, around the outside, 50, maybe 400 by 400 is about the size of the steering wheel. I paid way too much for one that had markings laser etched instead of painted. I don't know if these are just, I think I'm feeling the paint. I think these are just painted. Yeah. Laser etching would be pretty cool, but by the time the one that's painted goes bad, you know, spend another 20 bucks on one, you know? How much does something like this run these days? Let's check. How much is that tool? I hate to like put a price tag to it, but just to see whether or not it's completely replaceable. I use Amazon for everything because I practically live on top of an Amazon warehouse. So stainless ruler metric. Big guy, small guy. Oh, I hate the markings on this, but it's $7.99. So, you know, I don't know how precisely super duper amazingly accurate they are. Let's put machinists in front of that. Not machinists stuff. English metric 6, machinist 6, 6, 7, 8, 10. When do they get really expensive? Ooh, I'm in my Pacific arc. Sorry, you can't see that right there. Pacific arc. Yeah, it's like $10. So machinists laser stainless steel ruler metric. I think they might have ignored that term. Yeah, these are all printed. Well, anyway, it's like $10, but it's such a useful tool. Why did it scroll 10,000 lines? There's something with the software in this mouse. Sometimes, I don't know, maybe Bluetooth gets a little weird. What the heck? Weird. Okay, all right, let's get out of this. All right, CRscanning. So this is 250 to 500. So medium, we're well within medium size. Yeah, if you're working with solvents. I see. Marker. The 6mm diameter of markers is recommended. Medium size, small. 3mm markers recommended. Please use non-reflective markers. Geometry. In geometry mode, surface and regularly shaped objects will cause tracking loss during scanning. If the object does not have rich texture features, it's recommended to use marker mode after randomly pasting markers on the surface. We'll try with geometry mode first, and then I've got the markers sitting right over there, so we can plaster some markers on the various features of this thing and see if we can get it. But I would hope to get an accurate scan of this whole thing. Push comes to shove, if I really want to pull out the stops, I have chalk spray that I could spray the front of this with, but I don't want to get that all over the place. Oh, you found what? The exact ruler. The Chinois. Okay, so this is the Chinois model. $4.99. it's $5. So that's pretty cool. So yeah, it's like you could allow it to succumb to solvents and it wouldn't put you back that far. Accuracy, I definitely want high quality. And disable the flat base because we're actually scanning this over here. We've got my fat butt, not the fat base. What is this over here? All right, get this out of my face. Get this out of my face. All right, so I would very much like to scan this thing. We've got the CRscan at the ready. We've got our settings in here. I guess I can pick this thing up. We're going to do it handheld mode. I mean, I could just sit here and spin the steering wheel, but I think we're going to keep that stationary, and I'm mostly going to try to scan this divot right here and try to get it right. Do we need additional light on this thing? I mean, I guess it'll help if we have a nice, soft front lighting setup, although this is going to create shadows as I move around. Let me open the barn doors up and see what... Yeah, I'm just going to create a giant shadow wherever I move. That's going to affect things. Let's try it out. Let's do a first scan and just see how it does. So you'll get a multi-view of this. I guess that turns off that light, so that's moot. I could toggle this thing on. Hold on, lights. And then toggle the stand. An enemy stand. All right, there we go. So we toggled that on in this view. You guys are going to get this nice bright bright light right there. I hit scan. Initializing. Oh, so I want to keep it in the green. Stuck in my head. Why aren't you getting this? Where's my buttons over here? There they are. I think those might actually get a pretty good scan. All right, let's try to get this top over here. Problem with getting Nintendo music stuck in your head is that it's primarily repetitious, and so you're never free. Never free. Now, really, we are only concerned with that bevel, and so this is just sort of extracurricular scanning that I'm doing here. Yeah, it's going to be a little wonky where things attach. We're okay with that. The reflective properties of the bevel are what's kind of fighting us right now. Oh, I haven't hit play yet. Okay, none of that scanning was actually, that was a practice run. That was just a practice run. That was a practice run. So when I hit play on this, everything's going to go to crazy and it'll go slow. It looks like, yeah, it's like a sonar of the Titanic. It's almost workable data. Those boxes are a little big, but I think they're just representative. We can work with this, though. We can work with this amount of data. This is pretty good. Get my leg out of the way. Oh, that's looking good. Oh. Find your happy place. Return to the previous scan area. That was like here. There we go. Okay, I'm gonna go real slow. Try to come up here to where I can get the top of the wheel. I don't know what the stuff is in there. I think it's just reflective is why it doesn't like it. Yeah, get all that. Yeah. Round back. I gotta move so slowly with this thing. It's frustrating. Uh-oh, it doesn't know where it is. It might have gotten some junk data there. Probably need to use the other camera when I'm looking at where I'm scanning. Oh, it just moved. Yeah, it hates it. All right, we're done. All right, let's see what that scan's like. Stop. Complete. They give you all these tools to try to keep you in check, but it doesn't really find itself again. Click on the button thingy to process the default settings. Can I use the puck? Oh, I can. It's just the controls are not intuitive. Oh, and it doesn't let me do anything else. Yeah, okay. So, given this mess, bless this mess. Okay, yeah, so it tried, when it slipped, when I got to the outside of the steering wheel, it thought it was rotating. And so it slipped and it lost it all. Yeah, this is my force feedback steering wheel, and I'm trying to make an airbag that fits in this area. So that area there, whoa! Mass effect theme. No. Pause. Oh my God. Google Chrome. Hello? Hello? Mass Effect map theme. There we go. Amazing. Incredible. Just the scale of it all. Okay, that's enough of that joke. Ah! Okay, that's this CAD mouse doing weird stuff. Okay, so if I wanted to get the perimeter of the airbag and where these two clips are, this thing and this thing, I have that data in there. So we could actually use that to create something that I want to print with. This window keeps losing. There it is. Okay. No, it still's not up to date. This Chrome window keeps getting dumped, and it's like kind of an important one. Yeah, I mean, you can trial and error it from this data. I'm going to try again on the scan, though, because it'd be nice to get sort of something that looks like my steering wheel into the program. The CRscan is a little bit frustrating. You got to move very slowly in order to get a good scan. So we're going to try again. How do I do that? Delete. Yes. Scan. I can't go there. How do I go back? New scan. Let's see. High quality or fast? I feel like we want high quality, and I think we're still fine with geometry. And I still think the normal object is okay. So let's give that another go. Make sure this is completely clear. I'm actually going to move the cable over to here. Let's see if I can't do it this way. And then I'm going to move the light further away so that hopefully we get softer shadow in the way of the actual scanner. All right. Let me move myself a little bit too. And be careful that this thing doesn't move and that we don't actually get a scenario where it thinks the wheel's turning. So I want to be about this distance. Okay. So now I hit scan. I should have the Mass Effect music playing this entire time. I don't know, it seems to like scan lower than I think it is. And it doesn't know what to do with that stuff in there. Also, I think it might be a trap to try to get the whole thing. Like the other side. Maybe we can just live with this little bit of information that isn't like corrupted on itself. Do that so it's actually... It may try to close the solids, though, which is a problem for us. Right, get the top of the wheel. Now it hates me. Now it hates me. Oh. There's like a square in the center reticle that I need to have be constantly looking around. Okay, so that looks like a pretty good amount of stuff. I don't want to move to the other side of the wheel because it lost its tracking when I did that. So we just want to verify all of those points that are around the airbag. And let's hit stop on that. Complete scanning, yes. I saw an ad for this thing where they scanned this not neck beard, but he was a big bearded guy, and he scanned his face, beard and all, his head actually. He scanned his whole damn head, and he actually mounted it onto a Warhammer figurine, and that got a belly laugh out of me. Missing a little data over here, but we don't really need that. The rest of it, I mean, we can put a mirror line down the center of this and just get this geometry here. It looks relatively clean. I think I'm gonna hit send on this one and see what we get in the end. We'll see what it's actually able to pick out of this point cloud. So we'll go with default settings. Yes, and then it's gonna destroy my computer for a minute. Make sure my Twitch chat is up to date. They know their audience, yeah. Yeah, see, and I missed that chat. Stupid Chatterino or whatever. Not Chatterino. It's... Can I call this page like important? Can I say, hey, this is a really important page. I would like you to not put this one to sleep. I don't think it'll do that for me. Optimizing 51%. Don't sleep or hibernate. Oh, you can't tell me what to do. I'm going to go hibernate. This is going to be a lot to 3D print, isn't it? This is going to take up a lot of filament. Yeah, it depends on the environment that you've got it in, but it seems to be fairly moody, the 3D scanning. These are pretty good results, though. We'll see what it makes of it when it processes this. Frankly, I could take this point cloud into something like Blender and probably do something with it as well. But we don't know what it's going to do on the back end of all this stuff because there's a lot of unconnected stuff on the other side. That's why maybe taking off just the metal bezel and scanning that could actually benefit us. But I really wanted to get a rough scan of it because we're going to have an offset of a couple millimeters because it's going to be able to be pushed on to be the horn. And I'll have these two big towers coming out of the back of it. I could potentially put a screen on it, but I don't know what I would display on the screen. I could maybe give it LIN bus messages that would have screen information. I don't know how to do that, though. Bus screen. LIN bus enabled display. That's not what I'm looking for. LIN protocol, physical layer, pecan LIN. Yeah, it's so eclectic that GitHub, an awesome LIN bus tools hardware. What's that all about? Well, my computer doesn't work right now because we're processing the scan. This is an argument for multiple PCs. Yeah, I mean, we could make up our own protocol for an LCD display that displays things based on LIN messages that are sent in. And then we can just have status messages coming from the base that'll display on the little screen. We don't have any kind of an API for the Granite Devices controller. What is it called again? SimuCube API, not the SimuCube 2. Is there an API SDK? This was something that we looked at years and years ago. September of 2023 is, we have access to the pedal effects force ourselves. There are tons of things I would like to do. Write a launch script, gets me haptic feedback, etc., etc. These are dumb examples. I assume the Cat5 connection isn't accessible over something cool like HTTP. No, not at all. The Cat5 is literally just a bunch of switches. They just use Cat5 because it's cheap and your typical sim builder will have access to it. There will be API September 2023. It's actually being worked on September 2023. It's going to be made available September 2023 to game developers September 2023 and commercial sim operators that have integrations to systems that do not run a racing games with some other real simulator. We already have RPM based. This is for the SimuCube 2, isn't it? SimuCube active pedals. Oh, that's something different. Be nice to be able to swap the SimuCube tuner profile on the fly. Yeah, it would be nice to have some of those controls available, because then you could make a whole UI. But I don't think they're ever going to share the API with me, and especially not for the SimuCube 1. All the things they work on is for the SimuCube 2. SimHub? What the hell is that? SimuCube would make an example SDI CLI tool, like mentioned, ActivePedal.exe. Then someone in the community would make a SimHub plugin that wraps up to that tool. What the hell are you talking about? I don't know any of this stuff. SimuCube Granite, then it's zero connection to the SimHub. I mean, the SimuCube is just an STM32 plugged into their own hardware, right? And so I could potentially run the Open Wheel project on it, which I think has been more fleshed out since I was introduced to it. It has more flesh than before. Open Wheel. Oh, what the? Come on, man. STM32. Open Sim Wheel. Discovery issue. This is September 2025, but. Yeah, I would have to do a little bit more research on this to see what the latest and greatest is. It might be that Open Wheel does everything that I need it to do, and I can just turn my SimuCube into an Open Wheel project. Then I will actually have an API that I can communicate with STM32, which means that I would be able to then run just TX and RX commands instead of having to fake being a Bluetooth modem. I use a Vocore display and SimHub to display the information from SimRacer. I'll look up SimHub right now. What are you guys talking about? From that scan, can you tell what size the center hex is? Yeah, I think I should be able to measure it and get it close. I mean, I can tell what the center hex is just by looking at it, but SimHub. DIY sim racing dash and hardware. Give life to your simulator. As a project back in the day, back when I was doing like actual work for a 3-letter 8. Oh, whoops, that just opened a bunch of web pages. Hold on a sec. Hold on a second. Close all that, close all that. I hit the wrong button. That was supposed to be the gag where I zoom in. No, but back in the day, I had a project where we actually took, oh God, all of my windows are so dead. There's no memory left. We took a dash out of a Chevy and actually got it working on the CAN bus, which would be a really cool use of the SimHub. You'd have a real dashboard and all the gauges would be working with your simulating racer. My boy's really put out here looking up SimHub on stream. What? What's wrong with that? I don't know anything about these tools. I just build weird hardware. All right, let's see here. How much more processing? Whoa. Well, that's pretty crazy. I don't need any of that color data. All I'm interested in is that that lip is properly positioned so that I can run a 3D line around it. And it's kind of tough. The details on the lip are a little bit limited. It's a little bit of a jank line, but I think we can make a smooth line out of it. And that'll lead to a properly sized airbag. And we got a little bit of the, who's having an idea? What's going on? I'm toying with the idea of converting a real steering wheel stalks to use with Euro Truck Simulator. The BMW ones from the era that I got, I don't know if you remember when we went through them, the stalks use multiple resistors so that they can only need one wire. So when you flip it, it's actually flipping 12 volts through different voltage dividers in order to give you the position of like the windshield wiper thing. It's not digital in any way, which is weird. Not the way that I would do it if I had to design it. But yeah, pretty crazy. So you would need analog inputs in order to measure that. Okay, come back, come back. Okay, here's one thing I don't like about this scroll wheel is that it racks up. If you flick it hard, it has like a momentum to it in some programs. Yeah, it's a weird way of doing it. They save copper by doing it that way, I guess. But that means that your controller on the other end needs to be able to do analog levels, unless you put it into like I don't know, like a Schmidt trigger or like a fuzzy logic chip and have that run to something else. Oh my God, would this thing just please duplicate, close the old one. Maybe that'll bring it back. Yeah, my social stream blade is like out of memory in Chrome, and so when that happens, it parks it, and so I'm not seeing new chat messages, and it's like, come on. I don't know why it chooses that one specifically. Okay, so we're not gonna deal with this full color one. It's really fun, and you can see the red stitches and stuff. But what it's done is it's closed up all the geometries. Actually, I don't think it has. Doesn't look like it's closed up any of the geometries, but we're going to run this as a mesh and then hopefully trace this mesh in Fusion 360. And we'll do that in 3 dimensions. And hopefully that'll give us the ability to create some kind of a steering wheel. I don't know what all the commands and all the different tools that I'm going to use are. Hopefully we'll get something that looks like a steering wheel. This thing has been leaning against my leg and it hurts. Okay, move it over just a little bit. This is pretty cool. That I hate the momentum on that scroll wheel. I scrolled out, just like, that should not happen. I think it's this program. I don't think it's this mouse. It scrolls out 3 rows at a time, and I don't think they catered it. Because look at that. That's... Bye. Bring it back, bring it back. And then I can do this, and it goes off into the sunset. No. Okay, the scroll rate changes the further you're away. Get a script to click on the window every 30 seconds. That is a very roundabout way to do it. I think I could just go into Chrome and tell it not to park pages. Yeah, this thing doesn't work in the program. Freeform modeling or 3D sketches, I'm not sure. I think in order to run a Bezier curve along this line, is that really so janky? Oh, yeah, it is kind of janky up there. It's got this weird like notch in it. Is that damage? No, that's just how it is. Weird. I think in order to run a Bezier curve along it, I need to freeform that in 3D. Blender would probably be better because I could get multiple view angles at once. I think I could do that in Fusion though. So let's try it in Fusion. Let's try it in Fusion. I think the Space Mouse would be a much better tool for Blender than Fusion 360 because Blender has at times kind of a janky camera. The camera can get kind of weird in Blender. And so if you have this Space Mouse that you're able to just kind of fly around with, it doing like vector edits and stuff or like a individual triangle edits would be probably much easier. They should send one to Rabaz so he can use it while he's making his game. his late night sausage. Let's look at the mesh. There it goes. Blender, I could move the individual vectors using the primary directions, which I think I can still get away with in this program. So, yeah, I think this is good enough. I think this will do. Oh, center click zooms. All these programs have different controls, and they're all annoying to work with. Almost universally annoying to work with. This is enough data for me. The reason I'm only looking at this side is because this one was a little bit wonky. Actually, they're both pretty good. They're both pretty good. So I think we've got a good thing going here. So let's pull this into Blender, huh? Or pull this into Fusion. Sorry, my sponsor. Let's pull this into Blender, he says during his hashtag Autocad ad. Actually, they told me I can use whatever program I want. So if Fusion pisses me off enough, we will go to Blender. But I think this will be pretty easy in Fusion. Let's try it. Let's try it. Let's try it. Oh, 999,999 faces. Is that just a coincidence, or is that a special number? Dun dun dun. Says it over here. 999,999 faces. 9999. Okay, so what do I do here? Export as a still. Is OBJ more advanced than STL? STL is all we really need, though. Let's go to Stream Project. Graphics, thumbnails, solenoids, module tester, keyboard, new folder. This is called Merc Wheel. I still have to work out the permissions on 3D Scan, Merc 1. Still have to work on the permissions, the Windows SMP share, because yeah. There's still problems. Okay, so we're going to the Merc Wheel project. Did we do anything in Fusion for? Yes, we did brake pedal stuff. So there should be stuff in here. Units, units, units. We can scale it to the units. We'll figure it out. It's probably going to import and be enormous, but we'll get there. Just let me get there. Admin projects. Merc Wheel project. Lots and lots of stuff having to do with the shifter and the brakes. Should bounce this out into folders, I guess. There's the slip ring. This is an old one. 5/26/2020. We were working on this during the pandemic, huh? When did the pandemic really kick off? Was that 5/20? Was I still able to get stuff in the mail? Crazy. That's crazy that I was working on. Did I go back into it 5/20? Because I feel like I had already done it before the pandemic. Anyway, let's do a new one. So we'll just take Untitled here and we'll save it as the airbag. This will be the one with no screen. We're not going to put a screen on it. I could try to embezzle. I could try to engrave like a bother logo onto this. But I think first we just need to get our geometries down. So we were like if we were about the same timing, we were well into April and everything had already been locked down when I started to work on this. Oh yeah, I tried to get a C-class steering wheel, but it was all messed up. Whispers about it in September of 2019, a small number of infected people in Wuhan. That's right. Yeah. That's right, that's right. We don't need this open anymore. And then in Airbag V1, what are we going to want to do? We're going to want to import a mesh, but I think we need to do this from Insert, not from the Mesh tool. So we go Insert, and we do Insert Mesh, and then I'm going to go to my computer, and go to the desktop, go to stream projects, the active folder that I shouldn't be maintaining, because if this hard drive dies, all of these modern projects die with it, which is really scary. On the file server, I can check smart statuses, which I think I need to do. We need to make that smart status checking light. We need to figure out how to get the server, the TrueNAS server status into Node-RED. We'll look that up in just a second. I don't have ADHD. You have ADHD. All right, this is going to be the size of a house, right? Wow, the geometry is way off. Why are we all the way over here? Now, the scaling tools work with the mesh. Centering this is going to be hell. I want to center it based on that. I'm going to need to really kind of reach in and figure out how to get all these things in the right spots. First of all, let's see if our scale's correct. Wait, it brought color information in with it. Yeah, is there not a calibrate tool? I'm going to have to do math. So, move copy. Let's put origin basically right on this, this janky, nipply hex socket. Let's make sure that origin is like plainly visible. So we'll just enable it. We'll get closer and closer with our moves, although I don't like that this moves all the way over there. Here, we can use fundamental geometries to try to get this thing in line. Okay, moving from there is evil. I'm going to go back to dot move. Can I put this somewhere? That's not helping me. Well, I can do this right now. The cardinal directions really help you kind of get your stuff together. And it's going to end up being some kind of cursed dimension. Although, wait, that's going to move it from the wrong point. I need to choose the point where I move it. Set pivot. Oh, no, is that right? Yeah, set pivot. And then I want to choose the center of this. Is going to be kind of hard to find. Well, okay, fine. It shows that for me. I guess I'm going to have to work with that. So, backside there. Actually, I think it would be better if... Can I not select this? What's going on? Oh, I didn't set it. I see. So now that I've set that, I can come over here. Oh, you snapping little bastard. Four, 6, 8, 1. That's close. Not quite right, but I'll take it. So let's go to a different one. Oh, I can't see it from this side because of that cut in. So move it again. Oh, not selected yet? Okay, hold on. Okay, careful. Nope, not careful enough. I think it was like 1.8. That's about right. For me, the audio is not synchronized with the video, so it looks like Bother is talking in a foreign language with bad English dubbing. Ooh, that's not good. That's not good. I can't help you with that, because on my end, everything looks fine, and I'm not currently dropping frames. Yeah, 0 dropped frames. Okay, so horizontally, I have lined up the main bolt as good as I can get it, I believe. That sort of gives us our fundamental direction. This looks like it's off by a little bit. Of course, I can't see through that. But it's like this gives me like a 3-dimensional view. I can see some stuff over there that I guess is probably just overshot. Okay, so now to the second thing that I've never done before is drawing some kind of a mirrored loop. Let's put in origin here, and I want to put in a plane. So from construction, I want construct well, I just want a plane at, it's not really a mid plane, plane through 2 edges. I just want plane at thing. Offset plane could probably do just what I'm looking for. Although in this case, yeah, I guess the plane already exists, so we're using our fundamental direction as a plane. Well, yeah, scaling too, but I just wanted to get this on some kind of an axis that we could trust. All right, so what is the size of something accurate here? So let's get the ruler tool. This is not amazing, but I think I can actually get something out of it. If I go from approximately to approximately 27.3. And let's see. I mean, the inside could probably give me a dimension too, but it looks like it didn't really get that very well. Half second, good Lord. I can't get my calipers in there. I can't get my calipers in there. Do you have a washer that's like the right size? This is a small ruler. Maybe I can. Looks like it's bigger than 27. It's 8.8 grade. I mean, I can just take it out. Let's just take it out and measure it. That means I need the big hex. And actually, wait a sec. There's stuff around it too, so it might not be that accurate. Maybe we can go hold a hole over here. Well, that hole's all filled in, so that makes it a little weird. Any other things that I can use as dimensional accuracies? Get out of here. No, no, no. Stop measuring stuff. Yeah, we'll just measure the edge to edge. Okay, so I need to get big hex key. Big hex key. I think big hex key migrated over here. I was using it for water cooling stuff. Unless this is not big enough hex key. I don't see big hex key. Where'd you go, big hex key? Big hex key. Huh. I had a giant hex key that I used for water cooling stuff. That was wandering around, and it was pretty useful to have for opening up these water cooling things. And I think that's the size that I need. And I don't see it over here. I didn't expect to need it. If only I had anticipated. Check under my computer. No, it's not here. The problem with the water cooling computer, the way that I built it, is that water gets into it, or air gets into it. And as I compute and leave it on overnight, all this air will get inside of it. And so I have to tilt it around, and the reservoir is not very big. It's got actually quite a small reservoir. So when I tilt it around, water goes into the reservoir and it gets right into the pump impeller, where it stays until it dissipates properly. So I get scooshing noises for a little while after I prime my computer. All right, so we can just use one of these. One of these big guys. This is probably 8mm. All right, check if there are any messages. Okay, no messages. This should not be too tight. Oh, it's bigger than 8. It's a 10. It's a 10. Yes, this is the first time I've used the scanner since the OG finger test. What do you mean OG? It wasn't that long ago. Maybe it was. It wasn't that long ago. I don't know. Just kind of got out of a rut, so. Oh, and then chat's frozen too. My Chrome does not know what to do with itself. It's really kind of like, it's like, I'm out of memory. I just don't have any more memory. I'm done. I'm done. Here, CRscan is still open, so I'm going to close that, or rather CRscan. Yes, close the application. Okay, that'll free up a little bit of memory. And then I need to go to studio mode. Then I need to go to windowed chat, frame chat, and I need to, right click with the actual right. Oh God, can't find that. Go to properties, refresh the cache. Jeez. Okay, back to this scene with the 10mm ball end. Yeah, I knew I didn't put that on very tightly. It doesn't really need to be on very tightly. It's the little thingy-majigs inside of there that are these guys. Little ridges. Those are the star of the show. Okay, so it's 30mm from one end to the other of this thing. Now this isn't a very good measurement that I've got going here. But we want to scale this. Oh, and it's off by that. Okay, let's go back to move. Going to ortho view. What's going on? Oh, I was moving something else. Move copy. Ah, jeez. Need to work a little with this tool a little bit better. A little tighter with this tool. And I don't know if there are tools that'll help streamline this for me. I need to look at some tutorials and kind of learn what's with Fusion, because I've been left behind a little bit. I haven't kept up on my stuff. Why is this not doing anything? Okay, we set the pivot, and now I want to actually turn this thing. And it's not turning my mesh. Get me out of that tool. Maybe it's the Stream Deck wire keeps getting under my escape key. All right. Oh, I don't think it was. I think it was only one person it was you that had this sync. It's not my memory issue. It's something with your, unless everybody had that, in which case it probably was then a memory issue. Okay, so steering wheel's to the left a little bit. I just want to kind of twist it. And so if I do select the mesh, hit move copy, it says move object, one is selected. There's that. I want to select a new point. I want to go here and click OK. In the you guys can't see the tool, it's right here. Click OK on the tool. And now, if I move that, my mesh isn't moving. What the hell? Oh, there's a sketch active. Wait a minute, cancel. What do we, wait, what is this? Sketch 1, what do you, I never said to start a sketch. I must have misclicked. Delete that. Delete. Kidding me? There, reverse time. Jeez. Top left camera view covers the useful. Yeah. I did click on that. So yeah, select the mesh. Move copy. Bodies. Okay, there we. Not bodies. Well, I guess it is technically. It's a mesh. I don't know if it counts as a body. This brought in as a body. Okay. Oh, it's an unclosed mesh, so it is technically a body. Okay. Set pivot to origin. Go. Now it doesn't do anything. You son of a bitch. You didn't close the sketch, so you couldn't delete it. Does it also mean that I can't? I already set the pivot. I set the pivot right there. Oh my God. And then it. What's going on? Why are we selecting pivots and not moving bodies? It locked itself down somehow. I don't know what happened there. We still have to scale this. I just want it to be on its fundamental axis before I do that. Solid surface, mesh, etc. If I do this with a sketch, can I delete this now? Okay, that'll go away. These are the 3 move commands that got it into position where it is right now. So now we're back where we were. So if I select this again, I right click and I go move copy, and then I select this really crappy looking. Okay, now I don't have the set point on my cursor. Now I do. Okay, so set point is freaking broken. Okay. It didn't. Oh, because it may not want to select there. If I selected to origin, is it going to snap to origin, or am I going to be able to move it at all? It's not a component. I see that, and then it just doesn't do anything. What the heck? I'm running into problems. Yeah, I guess I have to go to the previous timeline step. Good call on that. That's a good one. There it is. I don't know what the heck happened to lock it down that way, though. Oh, unless it did lock? No, sometimes it like locks stuff. All right, so from this view, well, now I don't know what I moved. I clicked stuff on the mouse that I didn't mean to click, and it's like snapping. Hit control and it'll. Okay, it still snaps to center though, and I want to move it so little. I'm gonna zoom in, I guess. Why is the axis changing too? Look at it. Okay, how can I get rid of the snaps? That would be in that other window that went away. It's gone. Where's the other window? Yeah, it moves because the origin isn't the... Funny, I remember that wire as being parallel, but it's not. Two degrees. Looks pretty good. I'm looking at this versus this. There's a little divot there, so I think that's why it's not as cut. And then this is pretty equidistant. It's not perfect. Here to here. Needs to move to the right a little bit, so that the maximum size, the maximum pivot on that, but then it's a little rough up here, so. And that line goes through the center there, almost to the center there. It needs to be like 1. Oh no, it needs to be 3. What? Why do they move in different directions? Wait, now it's totally off. What the? Hey, now it needs to move -1. Negative 0.5. What happened? Something switched directions on me. Negative 0.2 is looking pretty promising. This is all dead reckoning. I'm not using measurement tools because these are janky lines. The divot above the hex bolt. Now look at how reliable the hex bolt is. It looks like I drilled it with a hand drill. This and this are something that I'm aligning, but I'm going by this arch and this here, this cup. In which case I think we are near enough as makes no difference. And we can chase the 9s all day, but I'm going to click OK on that and be done with it. Something's going to blow up and it's going to like fly 500 meters to the right. Nope. Okay. Yeah, from a front view, it looks like a great scan of the wheel. It looks just like the wheel. We can line the two up like... Oh, my camera's so weird. Use the space mouse to get the right camera angle. If I could understand the way the space mouse moved at all in my brain. I have so many settings that I need to work on this. Because actually, this should be facing 90 degrees from where it is right now. It doesn't really matter for us when we're designing in it. When I'm using the other view tools, but the way the ground moves on Fusion, we selected a ground plane to be the Z plane. We should have selected it to be like Y. And then it would move a little bit more. And then I could match the camera view here to what we're actually seeing on the arm cam. It's more like that. It looks like it's a really good scan, but there's a lot of missing stuff. We can still design around it though, because we got these notches here. There's that one and this one. That really just have to be a pressure fit, and then we have to have something that pushes against these 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Because those are where the springs are. So we could have either posts that go all the way down to it, and I guess there's these two here as well. We can measure them and try to get a good position. First thing first, though, I really want to measure out this airbag and see if we can get a 3-dimensional line running across it. I'm not really going to do it like a sketch because I'd rather it be an actual geometry that I can work on in 3 dimensions. So, boy howdy, have I never used that before. Let's try to get a solid line on this thing. And then I really would love to sketch it just from the plane of the middle, and I don't really know how to do that either. It's going to be weird. So create, let's see. Nope, not in create or modify. Volumetric lattice. No, that's not what we need. Assemble, configure, construct, inspect. So if we do a mesh, I don't think it would be if we converted it to into a fusion mesh. Parameters, moving copy. I'm just trying to think of the process here. Not really doing sheet metal. Plastic has some interesting features on it that we should probably look at someday. Like snap fit and lip are some pretty cool features. I didn't see those before. Torus pipe pattern, mirror thickness, boundary fill, base layer. Oh, base feature, sorry. Utilities managed, we don't need to worry about. So let's see. With the mesh, there's a way that you can flip over to the other design mode. We use generative design on it. I think I can. I missed the scan. Did you put the markers on? No, I did not. I did not put the markers on it. Oh, and we still need to scale it. Sorry. Convert. Yeah, the conversions. This is also where we can scale this. So face groups, we could try to repair it, or we can, yeah. These are all the tools that we would need in order to repair the mesh and get it to close, and then we can convert it to a body, but I don't need to do that right now. You're saying there's a convert mesh. There's scale. Convert. What are we converting this to? I have all these features because Fusion 360 provided me with a copy of this software for free. They used to have tooltips pop up for these different methods. I don't know what happened to them. Well, we don't need it. We don't need it to become a standard solid. What's going on there? Incredible Mike, Incred Mike, subbing for 9 months. Hey, thank you so much, Incredible Mike. Yeah, this ideal light is paying dividends. It sort of snaps my focus over to something happening. So there was a way to like model wires in Fusion 360. And the way that you do it is by putting down a 3-dimensional Bezier curve. I don't know if that's the 3-dimensional sketch feature or if that's going to be some kind of a base solid manipulation feature. It might be something that I have to do in a sketch, but I thought it was over here somewhere. That's just the 3D sketch feature. So do I need to start a sketch to do that? Probably. Sketch on a plane. This plane. You do. Okay. So I could use my fundamentals in order to create the lines that I need. So we'll do Bezier lines, and we'll go from here to the center. Oops, it should have been midway, because I'm not really going to get... Yeah, okay, start over. We got distracted. We didn't scale. Yeah, I got distracted. Okay, here to here is supposed to be 30 millimeters. Now, there's some weird stuff going... Hold on. Yeah, there's too many things to do, and I'm just going crazy. Actually, the sketch can help us with this scaling, although I don't want to include it in the thing. I just want to get from our center point what we would consider to be a circle that meets our dimensions. I don't think we need to scale it. Because that's 30 millimeters right there. It might be off by a little bit, but it does describe that circle pretty well, considering there's like a shadow around it. I know it's hard to see the feature because the lines aren't bold, but you can see how it, yeah, it looks like it is 30 millimeters. The problem is, like, where do you measure from? I don't have definitive spots because there's like a little bit of a bevel on the edge of this, and then shadowing kind of got in the way. Why does it look like I sanded the front of this thing? It would have been nice if it got the geometry of the hex bolt a little bit more accurate, but it just didn't get that data. So it looks like it is the right dimensions. So let's roll with that and then start in our sketch. It does look like it could use a little bit of help being centered. I don't know if I'm ever going to get around that. I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to do that. When you create the sketch for the cover, make sure to tick 3D sketch in the sketch window on the sketch tool when you sketch the sketching in Sketchington. Bonk. Okay, so we click over there and that gives us a 3D sketch. So now if we change our views to the fundamentals, we can do what we would have done in Blender. And I could also bring in the view that would bring multiple windows. But I'm not going to do that. Sounds a little sketchy. I know. So this can help us kind of locate all these things. Everything's going to be off. It'll be a whole bunch of iterations that I'm going to have to print in order to get this right. But these holes here, and these holes up here are all meant to be pushing holes. Whereas these two here and here are meant to be locking holes. I mean, you guys have all the same fundamental holes in your bodies if you go and explore them, right? I do. But anyway, there are certain holes for certain tasks because this is just a big spring plate and you're supposed to be able to mash on this thing from any end, either with your forehead or with your hand or a fist or maybe karate chop it. And so it'll push this plate in weird ways. It has a bunch of just like switches on it that'll make contact, communicate with the microcontroller, and then the microcontroller tells their base that we're honking at somebody. Blender's a demon I yet to have tamed. I used it in a very limited scope. That's really all you can do with Blender is you use it in a very limited scope. And I laser focused in and I said, I want to make this RC car mesh work as a body. What do I need to do? I need to go from this point to this point. I need to delete these and add these and put this and the blah, blah, blah. And you kind of get to know it on that level. And you'll eventually, like, I'm not an expert in Blender. I don't know a lot about Blender, but you can keep your scope limited and then branch out later. Okay, so we are two-dimensionally sketching on this thing. Now, what did we get this accurate? It's pretty good. I mean, if we mirror one side, I think we'll be in decent shape. I think it's near enough as makes no difference, although it could be corrected a little bit. This looks pretty accurate to me. It's just that this looks like it's off, possibly because of the way the scan went. Once again, that looks okay, even though the wheel looks like it's bent a little bit. So I think we've done an okay job leveling it. I would give it like a C minus, maybe a C plus. But we're not chasing 9s. We're going to try not to chase 9s. So we've got some fundamental distances in here that we need to lay lines down on top of. I need a starting point. And I guess, what do we see in this geometry? It's hard to kind of figure it out because we're down here sweeping around there. It looks like, you know, there's a vector here, a point here, and we can go down to there. So let's try to lay that out. And I guess what I can do is I can do it from origin. So I can put a construction line just way down like that. And I'll do another construction line going up. And those will be our start and stop points. And I'll just do one side and then we'll mirror it and we'll see if it matches. And then once we do the one size, I need to go into the next, you know, like horizontal view and kind of match the curve to everything. It's going to be weird. So let's go outside of this a little bit. Maybe we'll take it a construction line from here and go down 2 millimeter. That's looking more like a 1 millimeter to me. Oops. In dark mode, these could be a little bit more visible. So yeah, give it a 1 millimeter radius around the stuff that I have to avoid. So it's approximately here-ish. And I'll go 1 millimeter up. Is that even marked in there? No, it is not. Wait, did it swallow my sketch line? Ah. It's really hard to see what I'm doing right now because of the green. The green and the constant highlighting. Constraints, projected geometries, no. Constrained geometries, no. Sketch grid, we need that. What is this one highlighting? Is that projected geometries? It still highlights. Nope. Trying to get rid of the mouse over thing. No, we want the constructions. No idea. I think it just fundamentally does that. It's just, it feels like I'm so blind when I'm looking at it like this. And I would like to be able to tell it that I want a millimeter offset. Unless we actually trace it like accurately. If I trace it accurately and then I can make a 1 millimeter offset line from that. Although we'll need an outside line as well for this outside dimension. Oh, right click on the... I hit escape and now my computer really has to think about it very hard. Oh, there we go. No, flat shaded kind of helps a little bit. All right, where is that? That would be unselectable. There it is. Oh, that is so much better. Still hard to see the green line, but... Oh, and it looks like it's not quite through the center, is it? That might be because the steering wheel's tilted a little bit still. Well, this appears to go through the center. It's not quite going through the center of this one, huh? Yeah, it seems to be off by a little bit still. I don't know if I'm going to let that bother me or if I just continue on with what I'm doing. I'm not going to customize all the shapes because it is mirror imaged. So I do want to mirror it on the center. So that will make all of the other stuff be off by just a little bit. So it seems like I'm going to need to go back into this step and give it just a little tilt. So let's finish the sketch since we didn't put anything down yet. And I'll just go back into the step and see if I can get this to... I don't get to see an origin line underneath it. I can see this here is off. Yes, I love when it moves like a huge amount from a tiny little... Okay, Control Z. Finish sketch. Oh yeah, go into this step. Z angle. 1. 1 was too much. 0.5. 0.5 might actually get us a little bit more on the target there. I don't have the benefit of being able to see the grid underneath this, but it looks like it might match up just a little better. How about this guy? Yeah, I think that looks a little better. Might want to scoot it over a little bit, although it does already look like it's pretty scooched. Let's click OK on that and just see what it looks like with this line going through it. Cool. Can't see it at all. Wonderful. Just what I love. That actually does look a little better. What about you going through this one? Doesn't quite meet the middle of the trough, but we don't know how if the scan was totally accurate. I think this might give us the ability to do this, and then if push comes to shove, I can go back to that step and I can scooch it over a little bit. So maybe I should just go and trace it just fundamentally from inside and outside, just hit all those nodes. So let's do, we're in sketch, we're not in the sketch. Let's go in the sketch. That's a 3D sketch, and we're gonna go and trace this in one dimension, and we're gonna start just a little bit on the inside of it. That won't be something that I'll be able to adjust in the future. It'll just be, that's what it is. This is where it is. So this one has to curve down a little bit. And does it have any other? I guess it goes all the way to here, but I'm going to want to do here to like here. That was just a regular line. I shouldn't have done that with a regular line. Control Z. I would like this to be way less visible. I don't, can I do visibility on this thing? Opacity control. That's pretty good. We do have opacity control. Make that totally clear. That's so much better. Look at that. Now we can see through it, and we can see what we're actually putting down on the two-dimensional sketch. I like that. Okay, so. Wait, what's going on? Oh, I'm looking into the steering wheel for the geometry that I got on the other side. So I got to ignore that. That's tough. That makes this harder to see. Oh, it's so stupid. Because there's more polygons down there. It makes it harder for me to like figure out what that edge is. But if I get a line down, then I can trace it from there. We could do the outside edge first too. So I start from here and I go from the outside edge, one of these. That's right about here. And I go to, well, I don't want to go all the way out to where it starts to curve because this wants me to go to like a center node and then come from there. And that's actually a little bit better. Does that affect its buddies? That shouldn't affect it as well. Okay, let's finish that. See what it gives us. Why does it have to think so hard? Oh, I hit escape instead of enter. Okay. Conic curve line, point text. Rectangle, arc. No. Fit point or control point. I think I want a control point spline. And that'll let me get it into position. I don't remember how to do this stuff. I am learning. I am learning. Okay, so that does that. And then if I take this and I hit escape again. Create. Spline. Control point. From here to here. And then to around when it'll do the bend. I hit enter. There we go. And I have a control point where I can fit it properly. What's up, Terminus? How's it going? Now, the thing is, like, I could fit this in 2 dimensions all day, and I could get these right and just fit it right to its position. But I need it to fit 3-dimensional geometry. So can I move this horizontally? I can't. I thought you were a 3D sketch. Oh, it's got change spline degree on it too. What did I do with the spline? Oh, I blew it up. I blew it up. I think by clicking on it, it probably associated it with the line at that height. Select the point and hit M, and then you can move it. Line M. Oh, that's a struggle. Oh, that's a struggle. I have to get rid of this constraint. Auto constrain and auto constrain from datum. Huh. I wonder if that's something useful. Unfix that. Now we can go to move. Actually, what I can do is, here's the first line that I should be making, is a vertical line that goes directly up to the height of where this thing, which one is that going to be? Oh my God, there's so many geometries. Ah, I'm scared. No, I'm not going to blow up the airbag in my face as much as you guys would love for me to get some kind of a terminal injury from bashing myself directly in the face. The internet has ruined you guys. It has completely ruined all y'all. You think that everything needs to be this horrible massacring device that's going to disfigure whoever you're watching. All right, let's see if we can get this from the back shots here. I need you to go vertical. Streamer, ruin your career for us. How do I get it to go vertical? How does that work? I will never allow that insidious material into my shop. There we go. Okay. Oh, no, it doesn't. Oh, boy. It likes to snap to the wrong stuff. Nope. Keep me on this. It didn't. No! Damn it. We could just do it. We can dead reckon it this way. This will give us our starting point. Okay, way too, actually not way too tall. It's only a little bit too tall. What happened to my grid? Why is my grid bad? Hello, grid? Grid? Fusion? Ah! Okay. This is a pain in the butt, but this lets us start off more easily. And then the measurement moves, so I can't get it again. That's going to be a dead reckon distance that I think would probably be pretty accurate to what we need to move. Let's just measure how far the airbag moves so that I can get an idea of what I'm up against. Ow, my eyes. So from airbag top to airbag bottom, I mean, I can see the distance. It's right there. They have a convenient piece of plastic that is exactly the height. So it's 2.6 millimeters. Let's just see if it fully collapses when I fully collapse it. Oh, it doesn't. It moves like a millimeter. Oh, no, never mind. I would give that 2.5. I guess we should just be sure. We should just be totally sure about it. 19.64. Yeah. Yeah. 18.8. 19.6 to 18.8. It's about a millimeter. Because I guess that goes from 2.76 to... yeah, like 1. Okay, so it moves about a millimeter. So we need to be about a millimeter above the platen, the base platen. Ow, I scratched my leg again on this stupid thing. All right. So a distance, put a construction line here. That goes back That is 1 millimeter. And that gives us our distance from the base plate. So we're going to give this a little bit more height from our base. This is a non-standard thing here, so making this 44.8 is totally fine. Except when it doesn't line up. That's not totally fine. That's completely and utterly egregious. 44.44. It is definitely a 2 or a 3. 2 or 3. It doesn't like that. Now, would we call this even with the platen? No, I would not call this even with the platen. The platen has a much sharper, actually it doesn't. It has a really big beveled edge to it. But we're going to try to, you know, come right up to it. So this will be like a 3. It actually needs to be taller than that. It needs to be like up here. If it's going to be even with this plane, we're going to need some more uppies on this. Save the uppies. Save the empire. Okay. Oh my god. No, actually, I think that's a good base point. If we take this along this edge on this plane, I think we'll be pretty good. So we're going to start our line there, and we're going to move it up and around, and it's going to basically follow the upper ridge of this, giving it just a little bit of distance so that we don't have too much of an interference fit on that. And I'm going to have to follow it all the way around there and then come down and around the outside edge of this. This is going to be a complicated line. I'm glad I scanned it. Yeah, this would have been something where I'd want to like take pictures and do dead reckoning based on pictures. But in this case, like the 3D scanner is a little bit more helpful because we're working with 3D lines. What we could have done is have the orthographic pictures like in the distance and used our orthogonal views in order to line it up. But I mean, I will do that to a degree, but I'm going to do it using the scan, which looks like it's still off, but I'm just not going to sweat the small stuff right now. So we're going to go from that line and we're going to create, which one is this? This may be the one that I want. Oh, I see. So it wants to do it in the sketch plane, the original sketch plane. Bring that around to there. That's just stuck in my head forever. I can bring that down a little bit just using that. And then, oh, it did actually put my line in, but I want to be able to actually make a 3-dimensional line here. So we'll take this and we'll come out over here. That's all. Is that about the same angle? Seems like it. Angle changes somewhere around here. Boy, oh boy, is it hard to see what I'm doing. And that seems to still fit. I'm going to take it out to there. I'm going to hit enter on that. You think about that for a while, Fusion. Herc. Okay, yeah, so those are my position nodes, and then I've got these to adjust it out here. So now I need to actually take that off of this plane and lift it at the end. It would be nice if I could see it. Oh, and I'm not on my offset. Oh, damn it. It chose the wrong end of the offset when I clicked on it. So let's, we'll find my line first of all. Where is it? Did it actually put down the line, or is it, it's down there. It's selected all the way down there. You bastard. Okay, so let's take this and let's unconstrain it and let's bring it up Bring it upstairs. Ugh, those are the control nodes. I need this one. The bumpy inaccuracies are caused just because of the time of flight calculations that it's doing. And the surface of this thing is reflective to a degree, so I think that does mess with the laser's time of flight. It's also just an accuracy thing. I mean, if you look at the scale of this thing, this is pretty good. I mean, we can do all the stuff we need to do off of this just to verify dimensions. If I really wanted to be a stickler for it, I could maybe lower the scale. I can put the little dots all over it. I could spray it with a chalk spray, the sidewalk chalk spray that'll just wash off with a wet paper towel. I want to unconstrain this node. Can't even get to that. Equal, parallel, right angle. None of these constraints appear to be there. I just can't seem to select the node. Inactive tangent handle, sketch line, sketch fit point spline, sketch point. No. No. Okay. Go to sketch point. Let's click and hold. Shift, click and hold. Sketch point. And then the move tool. It's not letting me select this. Nope, that's not doing it. That's destroying our sketch. This line, this whole set of lines. M for move. Yeah, see, it like constrained itself on the one. I didn't want to start that there, so let's try again. Let's get rid of this. Let's just go over here to where we want. Ah! Jeez. The new mouse is a little bit eager to scroll and do weird stuff, so that's our 1 millimeter distance. We want the end of this. This actually should also be a construction. So now keep, like in Blender, I could probably do this a lot easier, couldn't I? I've wanted to try doing this for quite a while with Fusion and see what I could cook up. Spline. There we go. And then our spline is starting from there. So we want to go to the top of the bevel kind of thing going on. I'll take it over to here. Click enter on that. So that's two splines that I put in at that height. Then I think what I can do is go here. That's going to be a tough one because it needs to be a millimeter offset in all of its areas. So let's go all the way out to the end where I was moving. That's not it. That's it. And hit M. Bring that into a 1 millimeter offset-ish offset from there. But that's going to have, yeah, that's going to have that curve going on. So we're going to have to modify that. It's probably going to make it all weird. Boy, one thing is that it's got to think after doing all these steps. So maybe taking it one at a time would be the way to go. Yeah, because this is like all messed up now. All right, where's the center of this? There it is. That. I'm eyeballing the distance. I think that's all I can really do here. Unless I draw multiple offset locations, that could be a way to do it. Just do like haphazard right angle sketch lines that'll line it all up. I don't know. That to there. This is okay. Did this one move? No, it did not. This is a little thick right there. I don't know what's going on there. Bring that out to kind of try to influence it to be somewhat even. 0.4 millimeters. So this is not so much a clearance thing as it is the travel of the airbag when you push it in against the springs. So for me, my printer is 0.2 of a millimeter. If I go plus 0.2, I have like a hard friction fit. If I go even, I will have sort of a loose friction fit. Not loose fit, it'll be still friction, but it'll be able to be, you know, pulled apart. And then if I go minus 0.2, typically I have like a tight slip fit. On the Bamboo 1XC. Yeah, it depends on where your ridges are. It depends on how your printer handles everything. Mine is a Hymeria hot end. It's a direct drive hot end doing PETG. Wait, is that the line that I'm working on? Yeah. There's no bending to it. It's not doing anything. Wait a second. I need to make a much longer line out of this thing. I wasn't thinking about what I was doing. This whole thing needs to press downwards by 1 millimeter, which means that this should be like a millimeter offset perpendicular to the face, which is going to create all kinds of weird stuff. Because if I made it just go straight down, that's not going to work. I'm going to need some weird stuff going on here. Huh. Just thinking about this. This is a lot of weird stuff that I got to fit. I wonder if there's like a way that I could use a tool to help do that a little bit more easily. Something that'll just like fit me to that line. AI correcting a 3D scan. There's already some pretty heavy tools that are not AI that do scan correction, and they're all in MeshLab. There's a program called MeshLab because archaeologists use the 3D scanning quite a bit, and they do some really interesting stuff with it. Yeah, something's off with this. I don't know what's going on. It's like this needs to move down a little bit. Then when I do that, it disturbs this one. Don't I have, wait. Do I have a line that goes all the way back? Yeah, over here. Oh, but it's not IC. That's why it's not so visible. It's a construction line. Boop. There we go. Now I can actually see what I'm doing. Sort of. Yeah, the 1 millimeter offset might be something that I want to do elsewhere. I might not want to do that in this, although it's going okay, so maybe we'll be all right. Oh my God, I can't. Okay. All right, so let's keep going. Let me do more line segments. Why are we not snapping? Snap to this. It's above it. Oh, snap to snap. There we go. Well, that's not right. Nope. That's a grid snap. Create, spline, fit point. Oh, you do not like the snap to this, do you? There. Excuse me. We're going to go to there, and then we're going to start bending around. And we're going to continue to bend around. It kind of goes straight here, but with less of a... Oh, that actually works. Wait a minute. I think I figured it out. I cracked the code. Did that not put the line? It didn't put the line down. It didn't put the lines down. It didn't put the lines down because I keep hitting escape. Because of force of habit. Force of habit. I keep hitting escape. And I keep losing all this work. Oh, by the way, I've cracked the code. Figured out these secret organizations. Out we go. In this direction. Top. And we go to about here-ish. And then we go to here-ish. And then we go the rest of the way-ish. And those seem to influence one another. And then I hit enter because I'm not stupid. And that loosely follows all the curves, and I can just kind of tweak it into position here. And there goes Willow barking again. Me and the puppy, we're going to have a movie night tonight. We're going to watch some stupid movie. One thing I don't like about this is that every single little movement kind of moves everybody around just a little bit. Oh, that is snapping to something that I don't want it to be snapping to. Control Z that as soon as I can. Snap to custom geometries, protected geometries, constraints, dimensions, points, profile. Definitely not, well, I want to see the sketch grid. This is like as loosey-goosey as it gets in terms of, oh, I'm going to need points. And I'll need dimensions. I have a very stupid and simple way of doing this. Do share. Yeah, I'm curious because I haven't looked up any tutorials on how to do this. All I know is how to do wires in CAD, and it looked like it was just way too much trouble to be worth it. Also, the thing is, I want to kind of transition into avoiding this, because this line is going to be very close. Those have to be sort of right next to one another horizontally, and then I can dome from there. Oh! My body makes all kinds of crunching noises. Let's take a look at it in 3D. Oh my God, it's all wrong. How could he have been so wrong? All right, so we're going to move from, I guess, this point over. I'm going to bring that up. Whoa, that's like me in a flight game. Take that up to where we're close to this. And we'll tweak it into position in just a second. Kind of massage it into position. Because all of our other Beziers are all effed up because we moved it. Blech. Oh my God, what is happening to you over there? Horrible, horrible things. Yeah, everything's going to get wonky until we get it into position. Zoom in very close, use only lines, then point to point makes the outline. Oh, so you're talking about... Fusion actually does this with your circles. And if you... I wanted to do this with Bezier curves because I'm familiar with them. And I see... When I look at this thing, I see myself using Bezier curves in order to define how this thing goes from point to point to point, right? That's what I see in like the engineering software that they use. That's me. Now, a way that 3D Laser is saying to do it is if we zoom way in and I just do little tiny line segments for all this stuff, and I just go boop to boop to boop to boop to boop, and then I mirror it, it'll be exactly the same zoomed out. We won't be able to notice. I'll know, but then again, that's what the slicer does. So the slicers, I think some slicers now are using Bezier curves. I think they're much smarter to use, but G-code software really doesn't, it's in there, but nobody uses it. What they do is they use line and arc segments to describe everything on a very small scale. Because it doesn't matter if you've got 10,000 lines of texts. Computers can handle that nowadays, right? And so you just feed that into your machine. And so a Bezier style curve is going to be like 10,000 arc segments. And the software is just able to do that. Or it could be 4 lines of code and it could be Bezier's, and it would benefit from that, but that's just how they do it. No, I don't have the airbag cover. It would be nice if I did, but they're expensive. They're very expensive. So these only go, where do these go? Oh, I see. We're in the move tool, so I don't think that did it. Yeah, the move tool does our fundamental directions, but if I escape out of the move tool, oh my God, can you please just do this faster? Oh! I feel like I would benefit a little bit better from doing like lines that are vectored along this, and then I could match the Bezier curves to those lines that I want to be offset. If I could draw from these nodes just line segments that would represent what I want, or if I could fit some kind of a thing to it. I mean, I could use it to cut out a solid body. And then it would create 2 bodies, and I just delete the body that's on the wrong side. And then I can push that geometry forward a little bit. But if I do that, then my cut is going to be very rough. If I do this, what I'm doing right now, I'm going to create smooth bodies, which is, I think, my goal, and I wanted to get better at doing stuff with this. So... But if I take like a 1 millimeter line from there horizontally, and then I take one vertically here, I can create the offset that I need. Man, design is hard. Design is hard. This is very complicated stuff going on here. Yeah, it seems like what I need to do is just do a node pass so that I have the nodes in the right spots 3-dimensionally. And then run the Bezier lines between them so that they smooth out. And then I can check that against... Let me try doing that, because this is kind of sloppy and it's getting weird. I'm getting weirded out by it. And you know, part of this is I don't know what I'm doing. I just simply don't know what I'm doing. This one looks good, though. I just need to get that same performance out of the others. All right, let's start over. So if I do just like a random line segment along this curve, where would it be? So let's take one like here. And can I select based on the... Do I have to do P for project? I can't project the intersections of vectors. Can I do based on construction geometry? That appears to do it. And then I can do a 1 millimeter line on the blue axis. Hit enter. And that put that 500 miles away. There it is. There's my 1 millimeter line, 1,000 miles away. Perfect. Just what I need on the horizon. Just on the horizon, just anywhere. Okay. There's got to be a way that I can do this. Hold on, I got to figure this out. So like from there to like here, I want to select that node. And it appears like it was selectable for just a second there. Like my cursor kind of was on it. Hit L for line. That's way back there. See, that's on the grid. Profile? No, that's a sketch profile. And it's not a constraint. It's not a projected geometry. I guess I'm having trouble with this because there's got to be a way that we can do that sort of a 3D sketch and have this fall on that plane. That's, see, and look, my view is centered on the plane. I just can't get a line that starts there. Because if I could do that, I could do the outside of this bevel and then have a line that goes up and in for my offset. Unless I just sit here and just really hammer away at the... Wait, what is that line type? Huh. Hammer away at the Bezier curves to try to get them right. But I think we have a successful scan. I think I'm willing to just leave it here. I'm going to do a little bit of research for tomorrow. So Friday, we're going to work on this again. And I'll have a little bit more information about tracing the scan, because I feel like there have to be better tools for this, right? And this is the portion. This is why I do this stuff the way that I do it. It's like I have to now go do homework in my professional life in order to learn what the hell I'm doing here. So I'm going to save all this stuff and we'll get back at it tomorrow. If I have time, I want to work on the Stream Deck a little bit too. So maybe we'll do the same thing. We'll split the stream up into like work on the streaming stuff and then actually do, can I type something? Yeah, what? Do you have another suggestion? I'm willing to listen. I'm willing to listen today. Because, yeah, we're going to have to do a lot of that stuff. I mean, this will be easy to plan out. Offset planes and the whole construction session. This guy over here. Wait, we got to finish the sketch for that. So point along path, point edge and plane. Yeah, these might be some useful stuff, huh? Plane through two edges, through 3 points. Axis through cylinder. Axis perpendicular to point. I don't think we need axes, but point at vertex. Aha! Aha! The plot thickens. The way I would do it is to break apart the thing. Break apart the thing. I mean, I can take the metal bevel off and have that as a separate scan. Model everything and assemble it. I've done that before with stuff, but that's a little bit much for the... Because all we're trying to do is trace a complex geometry around this thing. I don't know if I would be able to break that apart into pieces. But taking this metal piece off and modeling that separately, that is something that I could do. Designing this in 3D would be kind of a pain in my butt. This is very complicated. There's a lot of stuff to it. A lot of stuff to this stuff. Right, a lot of nooks and crannies. Taking the airbag thing out and then scanning that on its own. I don't know, that seems like a lot when I could just try to get an inside and outside of this edge here and have it offset in the ways that I want to, and then I can take like a ball or something like that and just model it in there. It's complicated, but the more that I learn this, the more that I struggle through this, the better I'm going to be at it and the faster it'll be. So, I mean, there's also, you know, people take the orthogonal pictures of it as well and put stuff together that way. But, and it's always flippantly suggested to me that I do that. They say, oh, just take a couple pictures and then you could trace it. Well, it's a little bit more complicated than that. And if I do like a the fundamentals and the ISO whatever view, then it might be a bit faster for me to position things, but I'm not sure. Blender might be better at this too. Maybe I pull it into Blender, do all the lines, and then pull it back into Fusion, where I can then use those lines to create extrusions. I don't know. I gotta think about this, but I'm gonna look some stuff up and see what I can discover. Until then, here is my end card. My social media got blowed up. It got hacked for some freaking reason. And I don't know when I'm gonna be able to get it back. Break it apart, model it. You can get it done. I think we can get it done with what I've got right now. I think what I've got right now is perfectly fine. It's just a skill issue. It's a no bother skill issue as usual. You guys should be mad at your streamer for having a skill issue. My streamer's better than that. But I'll figure this out. I mean, I will figure this out. We'll see what I can get done. In the meantime, I'm gonna be on Discord. I'm not gonna be on Blue Sky because my freaking account got hacked and it started advertising stuff to people and got banned. I don't know how long that lasts. I think I sent them a plea, but I'm not cool enough to have a cool account that gets attention from these people because I have like 4 followers. Anywho, I will catch you guys later. Thank you so much for joining me during this stream. I really appreciate the suggestions when I struggle. We got everything else kind of working. We will get to the bottom of this tomorrow. Sorry, Bitlit game. I'm finishing, man. It's been 2 minutes. It will be 4 hours, and then I will end stream. So we just have to hold out for a sum total of 2 minutes, which will creep up on us way before you even think it would, and our stream will end at exactly 4 hours. It's actually 2 minutes in terms of production time is excruciating, especially when you have to draw like a single theme or like an outro all the way out 2 minutes in order to get it to be long enough that you're going to be able to do the gag where you actually flip scenes at exactly the 4 hour mark, because you wait an entire oh my god, it's like 1 minute hasn't even passed. This sucks. This is the worst. Waiting 2 minutes for something on stream on Twitch, it's absolute torture. Oh my god. Terrible, terrible torture. What we did today is we scanned the steering wheel and we got a good enough scan that I can actually fit okay, that was uncalled for. That I can fit actual Bezier curves to this outside line for the airbag, and we can actually make a solid that'll be somewhat like an airbag that we could push on, and it'll make horn noises, but it'll also cover up all the weird system goop in the middle. We don't have to look at all the weird stuff inside. We'll get there. I mean, we'll get there. It's not going to be that bad once I figure out how to do the 3-dimensional geometries that I want to do. And once I get that, then everything will be honky-dory, and we will finally be popular and cool. People will like us. Our stream will balloon into thousands and thousands of viewers. And finally, and I do mean finally, I am really drawing this out because we're getting very close. It could happen any second now that we reach the